An upgrade, new era Colorado hoodie.
I like this one fine. And also, like the variant of like how long screen printing lasts on a shirt.
Some are better than others,
this hoodie 4,000 times, still holding up good.
It is.
Very
it's
good.
not peeled or
still
anything.
holding up pretty good.
Hasn't shrunk too much either. Everything's good.
No, it's like, like you get like, I'll be honest, for a hoodie, paper thin.
Really?
Anything that's like, well, but I like sometimes like when it's going to be 60 degrees, I don't want a real thick hoodie.
It's the perfect
thin hoodie.
Yeah.
There's nothing left on the inside. It's like wearing a t-shirt with long sleeves at this point. There's no like internal warmth provided from this hoodie.
You should just start pulling a Belichick then and just cut the sleeves, a little bit, start the...
If you started cutting the sleeves, we'd have a conversation, I think. Like, what are you doing here? What are you doing? But
only if Bill becomes the next head coach of the Chiefs somehow, He's 85 years old.
Mike Florio said that was going to happen, I think, a year ago, didn't he?
I don't remember. Mike Florio predicted Kansas City. Honestly, it's about that time of year. We're 1 to 2 weeks.
About a month away.
We are one. Yeah. December 1st is the official deadline. If I'll punish myself on this show in some way if by December 1st Mike Florio doesn't claim Andy Reid might retire at the end of the year.
You'll punish yourself.
Oh, I'm not going to get like a tattoo. I'll eat something gross for the show or something, Because by December 1st, Mike Florio will hint at Andy Reid's by December 1st, he'll hint at Andy Reid's possible retirement.
So if he doesn't, then you get it to yourself. Then,
it's definitely a playoff playoff Super Bowl week article again that he'll be putting up on Pro Football Talk, whatever. Anyway, coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll check in with our NFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino, talk about what looks like the final nail in the coffin after, at one point, the Jets win last week against the Texans. Could have springboarded them. It did not do that. The Jets got embarrassed this past week. The Cardinals, we'll talk about his Jets. We'll obviously talk about the Chiefs and Bills' massive showdown of 2-9-0 teams. And then Nate Taylor, our NFL insider, Chiefs insider in particular, from The Athletic, going to join us. We'll move him up a little bit to the noon hour today. He's got some other stuff going on, so Nate's going to join us a little bit earlier. That's coming up at noon. But thinking of the Bills and Chiefs, I mean, for a regular season game, it really doesn't get any bigger than this. But we've seen this time and time again. Huge Chiefs, Bills, regular season game. Now,
They're good at getting those on the books.
Last year, both teams played in December, and they both had a bunch more losses. The Chiefs had 5 more losses, by the way, when they faced them in the regular season last time. The Bills had 4 more losses when they faced each other in December. That was the regular season matchup when the Chiefs lost 20-17. That was the whole, Kadarius Toney offsides. Ruined the perfect lateral from Kelsey play.
Bring that up?
That was that game. And then we all know in the playoffs, the Chiefs got a 3-point win and moved on to the AFC title game. But yeah, I mean, because of the number 1 seed implications, that's why this one feels bigger than even last year's regular season matchup, which was at Arrowhead. This time, it's up at Highmark there in New York.
It's the regular season games for the Chiefs, specifically the Chiefs, because that's important to note here. I'm sure they do for other teams. I don't know how many times we've joked about other teams playing their Super Bowls essentially against Kansas City. Although some Denver fan tried to claim that like Mahomes celebrating at the end of theirs was like Mahomes celebrating like it was a Super Bowl, but he wins actual Super Bowls. So that insult doesn't land. Regular season games for the Chiefs do not get bigger than this one. They can essentially narrow the playing field of number 1 seed potential to just 2 teams, one of which you will play on Christmas Day, and has an incredibly difficult schedule the rest of the way in the Pittsburgh Steelers, a team I don't think is a real threat to take the number 1 seed from you, and a team that you also currently have a 2-game lead on anyway. So you get that. You get the hostile environment. You're in Buffalo. That's a dangerous place to play. You get the history between the 2 teams, everything. This is about as big of a regular season game as you can get for Kansas City because it's the number 1 and number 2 quarterbacks in the league. It is the 2 best teams in the AFC in a hostile environment with number 1 seed implications. Barring this game being on December 30th, and it was the second to last game of the season, and it actually decided the number 1 seed, massive test for both of these teams to find out where they are.
Yeah, because we all know there's just a very good chance they're going to play each other again in the playoffs. And there just is. And unless each is one.
Surprised, I guess, if they don't.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if each is 1-2 and you think Baltimore still finds a way to get to an AFC title game, and so you think we don't get that. Otherwise, it feels like they're going to play each other yet again in the postseason. That's been the normal routine. It's why we've gotten to know our sister station up in Buffalo and guys like Mike Shope, and we've had them on our show. We've been on their show. Both of us, I don't know, Cody was this now 4 years in a row, really since we started the show, basically 5 years now. We used to do bets. We stopped doing the bets with them because they had
kind of started feeling bad.
They had to keep sending us wings and pasta, whatever it was last time.
It seemed like we were just tricking them into sending us free food, and it was never a two-way street.
We never sent them barbecue because the Chiefs just kept winning, and they didn't make the playoffs. When they made the bets in the playoffs, which is when we were doing them, the Chiefs obviously were always winning. Regular season, I'll admit, like it's early in the week. I haven't come up with my final prediction how I see this game going. I love Mahomes as an underdog spot. Obviously, he's usually pretty darn good.
Yeah, the history is strong
in that spot. But I also know in the regular season, this is typically the spot where the Bills do beat the Chiefs. Like this is the regular season game where they do get them. That's why it was so massive the Chiefs found a way to win against the Denver Broncos, because otherwise we're talking about actually flipping the number one seed. Nothing can happen on Sunday that is going to move the Chiefs out of the current number one seed. Nothing can happen, right? It can make it easier. It can make it way more interesting, but it doesn't change that because the Chiefs won. If the Chiefs would be going into this game 8-1 instead of 9-1 or 9-0, then we'd have a different conversation. Like truly, then they would need some help almost the rest of the way. The Chiefs could lose and still not need help.
Yeah, pretty good chance. But if they, I get it. Like, because someone's going to be like, well, if they win, they're still up. I was like, yeah, but that one game is truly one game. They lose, and the tiebreaker belongs to the Bills, the teams that would have beaten them head to head. I also like it from the perspective of there are still people who both doubt both of these teams. And you're like, but how? They got the best records. The Chiefs are undefeated. Trust me, find yourself a national publication of any kind. You will find teams that will be like, look at how the Chiefs are winning. They're only beating these teams barely. Overtime against the Bucs with no weapons, blocked field goal against the Broncos, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I pointed out there's an entire thread from the 33rd team of all the times the Chiefs could have lost this year. And it was, it's the ones like, if Isaiah Likely's toe is in, if the field goal doesn't get blocked, if all, think about how their season instead of 9-0 could have been essentially 0-9 in their minds, right? Which is not true. But Buffalo has also shown a lot of flaws throughout the year, but they're also doing the same thing the Chiefs are doing, which is just winning. So in a lot of ways, it feels like something's got to give. Both of these teams have done a great job at winning in spite of some of the issues that do exist on any team or for any team. And I'm curious to find out what gives inside of that matchup. Am I down on the Chiefs if they lose to the Bills in Buffalo after starting the season 9-0? Do you think I'm going to come in here on Monday and freak out if the Bills get a win on Sunday?
Yeah, you are. You're going to say it's all over.
No. I will if they lose the Bills game and then the following week lose the Panthers. I'm prepared to panic. I am prepared to panic if that's how it goes down. But it's like, if they lose to the Bills, it's a regular season game. I understand that. But this feels like, so it's, I don't know the last time, like the 49ers won because they ended up not having Christian McCaffrey and all these other things. What is the game in which you felt like, I think it's probably the Ravens game is the only other game this year where I'm like, all right, where are we? Where are things? And now it's even more intriguing to me because
week one.
I know. But like the Ravens, I thought were one of the better teams in the league. But since then, what's the test that you're like, where are we as a unit? Now the Bills game gives you this is the Chiefs. Let's just admit it. This is essentially the Chiefs. Nothing fundamentally is changing. It is Wanya Morris. It is DeAndre Hopkins.
So I disagree a little bit there.
I know Pacheco could come back, but they have they have a good running game now.
I mean, I'm obviously curious how Wanya Morris holds up, and knowing what we've discussed at great length yesterday, we both agree they need to bring in some more depth at the position. But I disagree. That's like this will be the unit that's in the playoffs because Aminayu's still not playing, Pacheco's still not playing, Juju we're not 100% sure if he's back. Maybe he's back, so there's a chance he doesn't play. Yeah. Hollywood Brown, maybe he's available.
I'm just like not counting him as part of the equation
so
for now.
Let's throw him out. But
everyone else,
I think there's still more reinforcements on the way. So I don't think this is, in fairness for Buffalo too, because Keon Coleman's not playing. We already know he's out. Their talented young rookie wide receiver is not going to play. Amari Cooper's banged up. We'll see. And my guess is he finds a way to play on Sunday. So they're not 100%. So I don't know if this is, if they play in the playoffs, I don't think it'll be the exact same teams as we're seeing on Sunday. Maybe that's, I'm not saying I'm not pumped up for the game. I definitely am. I think it's a huge game on a pretty good slate in the NFL coming up this Sunday too.
And I got to look at, I didn't see if there was typically on Mondays, there's not updates on injuries for those guys. Dalton Kincaid, again, had left that game early, so I guess we'll see. That's actually the bigger one for the Bills, because if there's one area on the field we know that teams can take advantage of the Chiefs' defense, it is tight end. That has certainly and consistently been an ongoing theme for the entire year. And sometimes, I like those challenges. I like to find out if those guys just get the yardage, like has taken place so many other times, or if they're going to get the yardage and actually impact the final win on the end game of it. I'm excited. This is the most excited I've been 4 games since probably Cincinnati. Because they're the 2 biggest rivals in the NFL.
It's been that long?
Yeah.
8 weeks?
Yeah.
Whatever it's been?
I mean, no offense, but I wasn't it's not like I didn't think Atlanta was a good game, but I'm not getting up for a road Atlanta game. Chargers, they always beat them. Saints, I don't care. 49ers was an interesting one. I think maybe if Christian McCaffrey, their full complement, if that was all in place, maybe I feel different. Certainly not the Raiders, certainly not the Bucs, certainly not the Broncos.
People were giving that article that you mentioned, Shefty, a hard time because he retweeted it as if he was excited. I don't know, I mean, or whatever the hell you want to assume from him retweeting it.
Here's the thing I'll say about the 33rd team. Gold, you and I on Monday, I pointed out all those same things they're pointing out. I told you all the times the games could have been close. But I think people take it as because it's just from a Twitter account. The 33rd is saying, look at you losers, you could have lost all these games. And what I'm telling you is, look at you winners. All those things could have gone wrong, and not a single thing did. Not all those things could have prevented you from winning a football game. Did they? No. All those teams screwed it up. Isaiah Likely could have just gotten his damn toe inbound. He didn't. Their guard could have not gotten his ass shoved to the ground against Denver yesterday. He did. Atlanta could have gotten a 4th and 1. They didn't.
Yeah,
all those teams could have succeeded. The Chiefs did.
Chiefs made plays, and even if you want to take it a step further and just okay, so they got lucky on this or whatever. Okay, so let's say they have 2 losses. They're still 7-2, and they're tied for the best record in the AFC. You know what I mean?
Oh no,
it's not as if instead of being 9-0, Cody, they would be a 4 or 5 win team. Okay, so they'd be 7-2 or 8-1.
Even half the time, yeah.
It's craziness. But the Chiefs are underdogs heading up to Buffalo. We'll talk a ton more about this game throughout the week, throughout the show today. Ross Tucker is going to join us tomorrow on the show. Be good to get his perspective on what he's seen from Buffalo, and especially the offensive line play. I can't wait to have Ross on the show tomorrow, because last year we asked him a ton about the left tackles. Now we got to go back there again and ask him what would he do with the situation, and what is it about Kingsley? Does he think long-term Kingsley can figure this thing out? Short term, we know that's not the solution, but we'll talk to Ross about that tomorrow on the show. In the meantime, there is this offense right now in Kansas City that's just outside the top 10 now points per game because of...
I didn't check it after last night's game, but...
16-point performance. Yeah, I mean, last night was a terrible football game. Dolphins got the win. Give them credit. Their season was on the line. They found a way to beat the Rams, who just had no answer for the Dolphins front. It was actually a really impressive win, I thought, for Miami. But no, the Chiefs, we know they've been carried by their defense at times. This offense, though... How do we judge them with the competition they're going to face? The Bills are a top 10 defense.
They are.
But then they play a bunch of bad defense.
Okay, so this is going to be a wild ride, Chiefs fans. And I thought that it was better that we just prepare you now, because I think week to week you're going to be like, what the hell am I watching? Right now, the Chiefs are the 11th ranked offense in the NFL from a points per game perspective. They are either, for the rest of the season, going to face one of the 5 best defenses in the league, or one of the 5 worst, with literally one exception. That's it. The Bills are a really good defense. They currently rank 9th. They were in the top 5 a couple of weeks ago. They're in that same range. They're one of the better defenses in the league. Panthers rank 32nd. Raiders rank 30th. The Browns are in the bottom 10. And then outside of that, they face the number 1 ranked Chargers, number 2nd ranked Steelers, number 4th ranked Broncos in points per game. I don't know how week to week we're going to be guessing about what the Chiefs' offense looks like, because legitimately, they either face one of the 5 worst defenses in the league or one of the 5 best.
But in a way,
it's going to be hard to get a test on them, isn't it?
Isn't that a pretty good test, though? I get to face the number 1 defense, the number 2 defense, and number 4 defense, and a top 10
this one.
The rest of the way. And, I mean, I think that's a pretty good test.
The only mediocre was the Texans.
Yeah, I mean, and then not to mention going back to what that we were discussing, 5 minutes ago, which is also what the offense is playoff time may be different. When does Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt work hand to hand? Is that going to be the Raiders game? Is that going to not be until Christmas Day? or whatever against the Texans or against the Steelers. I'm sorry. Like maybe I don't know. That's when we'll have the full test. So I agree. We may not have the full idea of what they're going to be in the playoffs until much later in the year, but not just because of competition. Just because of, are they all on the field and available? I mean, the Chiefs, if they keep winning, they're going to slow play, as they should, bringing back Amenihu and slow play bringing back Isaiah Pacheco, because there will be no reason.
You think the more they win,
push.
the less likely those guys come back sooner?
I think you would have to, right? You would have to be a little more patient. There's nothing that's pressing. You don't want to rush anybody anyway. It's all about the postseason, but especially in a year in which I told you if they beat Buffalo and they've got a big lead over them for the 1 seed, we know the Ravens 1 seed conversation's over. The Texans aren't a factor in the 1 seed. Then it would really just be the Steelers. Maybe they're playing on Christmas Day against Pittsburgh, and we're talking about being for the number 1 seed. I don't know. I just don't think Pittsburgh's going to, in my opinion, go the next 5 weeks and not lose a game.
I really feel like the way this is going to go is, and I can just forward predict it, so just prepare yourself for these conversations with your coworkers, with us, whatever it is. For the next 3 weeks, you're going to be like, oh, Chiefs offense fixed. Problem solved. They get shootouts with the Bills all the time. The Bills are a good defense, but they're not like an elite level defense. They're susceptible to the run, right? So, like, for the next 3 weeks, you're going to be like, okay, offense got a little something going. Now I can feel it. Look at DeAndre Hopkins go, the rushing attack. Pacheco's getting ready to come back. And then for the rest of the season, you're going to be like, are they broken? Like, did something go wrong? Because 3 of the final weeks, they're going to face 3 of the top 4 scoring defenses in the league right now. And it's no longer a small sample size by NFL standards. We're halfway through the season. You have started to become what you are. Like, not firmly, not without their line. Someone's going to be like, the Broncos are the 4th best after giving up 41 to the Ravens 2 weeks ago. I'm like, yeah. Every other week, they give up 15, 16 like they did to the Chiefs. Offensively is where they're losing games, not defensively. And so I think it's going to be a really hard test going into the postseason where this whole story is, I think we're going to get into week 1 of the postseason for the Chiefs. Let's just call it the divisional round because I don't think they're playing the wild card round right now. And you're going to be like, are they good on offense or are they just fine? Because being 11th is you're good, Gold, but you're fine, right? You're a good offense, but you're going to be of the 14 playoff teams, the 7th or 8th best offense realistically. 6th best offense realistically. Versus if they go through these defenses, they actually do score on some of these. Well, I might be feeling completely different about this team in a hurry.
So that's the defense. I'm curious, out of the current playoff picture, where are the offensive ranks for some of these teams? So we know Kansas City's like 10th points per game. They would right now be the number 1 seed. The Baltimore Ravens are currently not leading the AFC North, right? So here are the teams, and can we go through that? Because I'm curious.
You tell me the team, and I'll tell you where they're ranked points per game offensively.
The Chiefs are 11th, right?
Yep.
Okay, Bills.
They're better than Kansas City. They're 3rd.
Steelers.
They are 12th, right behind Kansas City.
Texans.
They are actually worse than you think. 17th.
Ravens. 1, right?
That's the number 1 offense in the league.
Chargers.
That's actually one of the worst offenses in the league, I would bet.
But number 1 defense.
19th.
Right? Okay, 19th offense, number 1 defense. Broncos will be the 7th seed right now.
The Broncos are
4th
the
defense.
22nd ranked offense.
And then if you're right outside the Colts and Bengals, 8-9.
Yeah, those teams, Colts, again, probably have one of the worst offenses in the league. They are 18th.
Bengals probably top 5 still.
Yeah, Bengals are way up there. 6th.
Okay. I'm just curious. That's offensively because we talk about the defensive stats.
It's funny because the balance lands with Buffalo. We circle right back around to who are the teams that are essentially top 10 at both consistently? It's Kansas City and it's Buffalo. And if you want to extend it to the NFC, it's Detroit. That's end of list almost. Yep. I'm not being.
Well, if you were to go on FanDuel and look at who has the best odds to win. Some of the best odds to win the Super Bowl. Obviously, the Chiefs and Lions are at the top of the list. The Ravens have slightly better odds still than the Bills, even though Buffalo would be the 2 seed right now. But they still believe in Baltimore because of what Lamar Jackson has done. He's obviously been playing at a very, very high level.
I'm a little bit surprised that the Steelers are as high as they are, given the not necessarily
last couple weeks they've been
criticism, but you look at them scoring 28 against the Commanders, and Russ has played pretty well. George Pickens is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, Mike Tomlin. More and more proof of how great of a head coach he is. We were critical of the decision as well.
I couldn't understand.
He's the second best coach in the league behind Andy Reid. They're right there.
People in Pittsburgh didn't like the move from Fields back to Russ, and it's obviously clearly was the right decision.
Yep.
It makes it look at Russ's time in Denver even crazier. You couldn't get anything out of him. Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith. Yes, Arthur Smith is their OC. is out here making Russ look good again.
I think it helps when your coach isn't screaming at you on every play. Like Sean Payton, you could just tell from the jump, didn't like Russell Wilson at all. I think that whole thing just
they didn't like each other.
It was sour from the
beginning.
beginning.
Never Sean Payton's guy.
Yeah.
And so half the battle of working with somebody at the quarterback spot is.
Yeah, it makes him look bad.
It does, but I will say the saving grace for him, I guess, at all is just that Bo Nix has looked pretty competent.
Yeah.
Like if Bo Nix would have stunk as well, then it would have been clear as day. Like, no, this is definitely a you problem. It already is rough with what Russ is doing, but I think Bo Nix being decent his rookie year is maybe help save face a little bit if you're Sean Payton.
I know he hasn't won a Super Bowl in a really long time, too, Mike Tomlin, same to Sean Payton. But, like, the difference in quality and coach to me there is so obvious.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Tomlin has no down years. It doesn't matter if it's Mason, Rudolph, or some other quarterback you've never heard of.
He's never missed the playoffs, right?
He's never been below 500.
Yeah.
He's never been below 500 once.
It's crazy.
Once. Andy Reid was below 500 once in Kansas City. Do you know how hard it is to have that level of consistency for that length of time at an NFL level in which you've never, outside of the first 2 years you were a quarterback, had top 10 quarterback?
You can almost just say that's the Steeler way. They only have 3 coaches in their team's history.
Yeah,
it's detail stuff.
It's patient crazy. Organization, the Rooney family, very patient.
Yeah.
Hell of a head coach. It's so weird, though, because you will talk to people that work in Pittsburgh in sports media, and it's everybody acknowledges what you just said, but then at the same time, it's like nobody also thinks like this year's team either is like going to the Super Bowl and winning. It's that weird spot. Like there's plenty of franchises would kill to have consistent 10 years in a row playoff appearances, but at the same time, here in the last 5 years, and I don't know if you guys agree for this year, does anybody actually still think the Steelers are going to like an AFC title game or winning a Super Bowl?
I'm happy to have a longer discussion on it, but no.
Super Bowl probably not, but I don't know. The AFC, as long as they keep they've looked better. I think. I would say that's
Defense
not necessarily out of the cards. I guess at this point,
we'll talk more about this maybe with our NFL insider Vinnie Pasquantino here in 8 minutes or so. At the tail end of yesterday's show, we alluded to Jerry Jones in some of his comments. I mean, he's every week he does a radio hit. He's the content he provides is pretty amazing. The latest controversy after another loss for the Cowboys has to do with their stadium, where those afternoon games, man, that sun just comes right through the stadium, and it impacted CeeDee Lamb on one touchdown, what would have been a touchdown catch, and it was very obvious the sun got in his eyes, and you're like, well, this is a simple solution, either way, you should have looked at this when you built the stadium, or like you do for other events, you have the blackout curtains that they can put up, and then when the sun goes down, you can. That's what a lot of stadiums do. Certainly for concerts. They've done it at that stadium for concerts, as a matter of fact. Jerry Jones did not want to have a conversation about altering anything with his stadium, even though the sun is also hurting his football team.
So we do know where the damn sun's going to be in our own stadium.
Why not put the curtains up? Why not mitigate that?
What?
The sun and CD's
Let's
eyes.
just tear the damn stadium down and build another one. You're kidding me.
But it's not, you don't have to go that way.
Everybody's got the same thing. Every team that comes in here has the same issues. They know where the sun's going to be. So our team has the same thing.
So is it more on Mike not understanding where the sun is and not calling
I'm saying the world knows where the sun is. You get to know that almost a year in advance. So someone asked me about the sun, and what about the sun?
So that's Jerry. Now look, he is correct. We do kind of
know where the sun is.
We do know where the sun is, and we do know way in advance where the moon and the sun are going to be on a given night. Which means when you built the darn stadium, you should have known where the sun was, and maybe not have this giant glass window that was going to be allowing the sun in the afternoon. This is on you. And his comment of like, I guess we just got to tear the whole stadium down. Nobody's saying that. Put up the curtains so your wide receivers can see the football for an hour before the sun goes down, or whatever it is there in Dallas. It just add this to another one, like just an average. Someone's why does Jerry Jones take everything so personally? He's very defensive. He's clearly as the season goes on, I think more and more out of touch that his football team doesn't have a shot. Your starting quarterback is hurt. You guys weren't good before.
It's such
You're
a funny
running
bizarre.
Cooper Rush out there, man. Like he still thinks his team has a chance.
According to Jordan Schultz, by the way, a little Chiefs news,
Okay.
he says the Chiefs are planning to designate Pacheco and Aminihu to return from IR this week.
Okay, so 21 days.
So they got a 21-day window in order to return to the field of play, as you know. That doesn't mean they're playing this week.
No, in fact, I would be stunned
But
based on what
they
Andy
are
said yesterday.
designating both of those players to return, according to Jordan Schultz.
Good. Great sign. Step in the right direction. It could still be 3 more weeks before we see him, but it's a good.
But you know what? In fairness, I thought it might be Christmas, and at least it eliminates that possibility and puts it more in line with the beginning of December as the latest possible deadline to do it. And Andy Reid did say in his presser yesterday that both of those players were close, but he made it seem like Juju was closer than them. So maybe a good sign that Juju will be back, if not this week, next week.
So maybe that Sunday night football game, Chiefs hosting the Chargers, maybe that's the first game they get everybody back together.
Pacheco,
great. Sunday night football.
Juju Smith-Schuster on Sunday night football in Kansas City.
Let's do it.
I am interested at least in that. Back on Jerry for a minute. He's crazy old man yells at cloud most of the time. And in this case, he needed a cloud. His team keeps losing touchdowns because the sun keeps hitting them in the eye. Do they need to wear eye black? Is there a solution they can do outside of this? I mean, it is beaming directly in their face. It's like a magnifying glass on an ant, dude. It's a real problem. Just throw the blinds down.
That's all they have to do.
If it's a day game.
And you say, well, the other team deals with it as well. Yeah, but why? It's your stadium. Like, why would you make it more challenging? These opponents play one time. You got 8 home games. Why would you want your team to have to deal with it potentially 8 times? Obviously, I think this Monday, don't they play a night game, so it won't be a factor when I think they host the Texans this Monday Night Football.
You think I'm an idiot?
Well, at times. Look, you're obviously a very smart businessman. You're raking in the dough. That team store is still packed every Sunday.
You have got to be smoking something over there this morning.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I said about you after hearing those comments.
I will say this.
Jerry could probably use it.
Settle down. And then yesterday, you guys saw Mike McCarthy.
Cody, that's what you said?
Mike McCarthy had a press conference yesterday, and this was just great. So McCarthy has a presser yesterday in their facility in Frisco, Texas. It's their other nice facility they have. And that room also has a bunch of glass windows. Okay. Well,
this was unbelievable.
The sun was shining through right on the podium on Mike McCarthy. So guess what they did, guys?
Threw a shade on.
They put a shade to cover the sun. So they're willing to do it in the press conference, so Mike McCarthy's not roasting during the presser. But darn it, if they open those black curtains or close the black curtains during a football game, then, man, you just can't do it. Jerry doesn't like that.
So funny.
The day after those comments.
Help your team out a little
also,
bit. Also,
someone say Andy Reid.
Oh, sorry. He was 9-7, not 7-9.
Up next, we'll get to our NFL.
He's been below 500, though.
Our NFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino. We're going to ask him about what he saw from the Chiefs and if the sun has ever been a problem for him.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Get a brand new home without moving with Thermo King windows? What is this sorcery? Is there a catch? Of course there is. You already know that Thermo King sells energy-efficient triple glass replacement windows that can save you money on your energy bills. But did you know they also install James Hardy siding and beautiful entry doors as well? So you can make that tired old exterior of your home look brand new with replacement windows, siding, and a new entryway door from Thermo King. Your home will look so good, it could attract tens of thousands of followers on its own Instagram and TikTok pages. Plus, Thermo King offers significant savings when you replace any 2 of these items. Replace all 3? Look out! Thermo King will practically be paying you by the time it's done. So why move? Get a brand new looking home with Thermo King. Call 888-KING-WIN or online at thermokingwindows.com.
Thermo King Windows.
Have you or a loved one been diagnosed with cancer? You want the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. That's KCPI, the Kansas City Proton Institute. KCPI has a full suite of the most advanced imaging and treatment technology necessary to localize high-intensity proton beams. That's a critical part of maximizing cure rates while minimizing recovery time and long-term side effects. Proton therapy provides patients with the most advanced form of radiation treatments for cancer. It destroys cancer cells with supreme accuracy reducing the risk of harmful side effects. KCPI has Kansas City's first and only system that uses pencil beam technology, resulting in precision targeting and less radiation to your surrounding healthy tissue. Proton therapy is now available in the comfort of an office at KCPI, making it more efficient and affordable than a hospital. So contact KCPI for the most knowledgeable physicians with the latest technology. Don't wait. Get precision technology with the highest safety measures with KCPI. Online at kcpi.com.
Many of us are looking forward to retirement. But when it's time to tap into your savings, do you know how long your money will last? Make a game plan for your retirement income distribution from UMB Private Wealth. They'll create a custom strategy for you to help make your hard-earned retirement savings last. Just go to umb.com/private wealth to schedule your personal appointment. That's umb.com/private wealth.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Did you know that Wendy's has any size soft drinks for just $1? Yeah, any size, anytime. Like $1 Coke, $1 Sprite, or even $1 strawberry Fanta. Okay, could we maybe switch up the sound effect, please? Because I'm losing it. Wow, no, not that. Any size soft drink for just $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. A la carte only. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Shop Dell Technologies Black Friday event for their lowest prices of the year. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Black Friday is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double hot, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Hey, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Well, I do now.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
Did you say you're cutting me off?
You earn, we match. Unlimited cashback match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-838-6161. That's 800-838-6161. 800-838-6161.
I'm Jenna Fisher.
And I'm Angela Kinsey.
And together we have the podcast Office Ladies.
Just because we finished rewatching The Office does not mean we're going anywhere.
Every Wednesday, we'll be sharing even more exclusive stories from The Office and our friendship with brand new guests. Plus, you can revisit all the Office Ladies rewatch episodes every Monday with new bonus tidbits before every episode.
So follow and listen to Office Ladies on the free Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. He's had songs written about him without asking for it.
Pasquantino, I want it. Now it's time for Pasquantino.
Mythological creatures and sandwiches have been named after him.
Beefy and Italian.
And he also thought the Davante Adams trade was going to save the Jets.
The damn Jets.
Welcome back to the show. Our Vin, FL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino.
Just a mental lapse on our part. Still haven't had time, Vinny, to get that edited, to get that Davante Adams part out of there. I'm sure you don't mind. What's going on?
Not much. I'm just hanging out. Yeah, that's all I'm doing.
What's your general protocol, by the way, for like bad Monday night football games, right? Rams, Dolphins, two teams that don't have winning records, two teams that weren't playing good football. Do you just skip it? What do you do as a guy sitting around on a Monday night?
Well, last night I was playing video games with my friends and watching the game, so I wasn't really watching the game a whole lot. There's always a lot of fantasy football implications on Monday nights, especially when you have there's a bunch of big names in that game. So it wasn't like Thursday night. Thursday night was Rams-Bengals, right? Same thing, a bunch of. Oh, the Sunday morning game.
That's
nobody has anybody
Panthers,
playing for those two teams. So you're just, except for Chuba Hubbard, because he was a sneaky start this week and he did well. So. Yeah, and so did the running back for the Giants, Tyrone Tracy, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
So I guess there was some implications in that game.
We noticed the Royals did put out their early look at some promo items for next year, and it's full of Pasquatch items, man. Do they run these by you? Do you get approval? Do you get a heads up that there's the Pasquatch necklace? I think there's like not a teddy bear, but it's like a Pasquatch figurine or something as well.
Yeah, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I have no idea what's going on in my life because 3 promos just kind of for me next year is insane. It's insane. So I really appreciate the Royals for doing that because what an honor. That's pretty freaking cool. The chain I knew about. The others I did not know about. But the necklace I did know about. They let me in on that one. So that one will be pretty cool. They're all cool. I don't know. It's really humbling and really cool to have that. And I don't know. I'm super appreciative of them for thinking of me in that way. And now I just hope I can go perform on the field to where I would like to perform at, so then we can go win some more games.
Before we ask you more NFL related questions, I wanted you to give us your 30-second pitch on why Bobby Witt Jr. should be the MVP.
I think that's an unfair question because I try to look at it from an unbiased point of view, and it's hard to make that argument. Just like Bobby's one of my best friends. I'm not denying anything, but Aaron Judge just had another freaking ridiculous year, and so did Bobby. But when you just look at the OPS stuff, it's hard to argue. When you look at defensive value, that's where Bobby trumps everybody. When you look at defense and base running, he was the best player in the league. The problem is the MVP typically goes to the best hitter in the league, and you can't argue with the OPS points that Aaron Judge put up this year. It doesn't mean Bobby didn't have a phenomenal season, but I think I'd love for him to win the MVP. I just don't think it will happen this year.
I respect the honesty. I really do.
Sorry for anybody in Kansas City who's yelling at me in my car right now.
Nah, they're fine.
You ask me a question, I'm going to answer it.
Yeah, that's why we have you on. That's why we love having you on the show. We're talking to our NFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino. All right, let's talk some NFL. The Chiefs are still undefeated, but the way they made this thing happen on Sunday, blocked field goal, even the players on the team were saying they really have not been part of something like that since maybe high school. Did you happen to catch the ending of that one?
Yeah, I caught the end of it because I kept looking at my wife and I was like, he's missing this field goal. I don't know what it is, but he's missing this field goal. When they ran all the way to the other side of the field right before it happened, I'm like, I don't know. That just feels like bad juju there. I have no reason to believe that, but I'm not a kicker and I cannot kick a football. I just want to know what the reasoning is behind not wanting to be in the middle of the field. It feels like you have more room to miss if you're in the middle of the field. I know the kick got blocked.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. But I'm just I need to talk to a kicker because I just wanted I'm just looking at it realistically. Wouldn't I want to be in the middle because if I miss left or right? But I guess if you miss left more, you'd want to be I don't know. But
yeah, I wonder if it's like golf, right? I wonder if it's like golf. Like your swing and your shot. Like maybe it's like golf. Like some of these kickers just know where they tend to kick.
And if you line up on the right side, like you better not miss right? Like you better not, because you could have been in the middle and you could have missed a little right and you could have made it. But
maybe it's a sightline thing, Vinny, like a batter's eye. Maybe it's a sightline related issue.
Could be maybe like a shooter in basketball. Like they like certain sights better than I don't know. I'm so ignorant when it comes to other sports, but I try to talk about it like I know what it is, but I don't. I have no idea. I'm just talking.
Vinny, now that we're halfway through the season, I do think next week can we start getting an official power ranking from you, the top 5 teams in the league?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I tell you what, if the Chiefs keep winning, they're going to be number 1. I know everybody's saying that the Lions are the number 1 seed, but your record matters to me, and if you're undefeated, you automatically get to be the 1 seed. So I just want to make that clear before we go into my power rankings. If you're undefeated, you're the 1 seed.
So it sounds like you got Chiefs 1, Lions 2, and then by next week we'll get you to work out 3, 4, 5.
I think I have the Lions at 2, but I need to talk to my analytical team and see. Like, is it more impressive to throw 5 interceptions and win the game, or is it still 5 interceptions?
God,
also, the Texans lost to the Jets, and that's hard to do.
Yeah, where are you at? Where are you at now on your Jets? Last week?
I'm not anywhere.
Okay.
I'm not anywhere. Let's just say this. I was supposed to go to the game this weekend against the Colts. I'm not going anymore. That's where I'm at. Yeah, I got to fly up there, get a hotel. You know, there's a lot that goes in other than just going to a game. And to be honest, like, here's some insight from how I feel about sports. You don't have to be the best, right? You don't have to be the best because it's almost impossible to do. All I ask is that you make your own bed and that you're prepared for games and that you literally try hard. Like, just try. That's all I ask. I don't see that from them right now. They're not even – it doesn't feel like they're trying. And if they get heat from the media, they somehow attack the media. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird environment that you never see, like, really good teams do, and I don't like what I see from them right now.
Yeah, it seems like they're down bad, Vinny. I saw that it was Sauce Gardner, some other players are doing the whole DMing with fans thing, and that seems like that's always a terrible idea.
Well, Sauce has deleted his social media quite a few times, saying that he wants to delete the negativity out of his life, but then he gets back on and he goes after media members and fans. So, which I get. I've deleted my social media before too. Like, when things are going bad, it's tough because all you're seeing is the negative stuff about yourself, pretty much. Like, I grounded into 2 double plays against the Brewers this year, and I'm pretty sure every Royals fan wanted to kill me. So, like, I saw all that, everybody. I saw that.
I was gonna ask you, like, yeah, you kind of basically answered the question, but like, how do you handle that? Because I think it's way easier said than done for people to be like, dude, you stay off the social media. I wouldn't be on it. I'm sure that's very difficult to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, in terms of like easiness, I could just put my phone down. But that's not exactly how we live today,
right?
Is it? But I think, like, what I do right now is I have Twitter on Safari and I have Instagram on Safari, so I don't have the apps on my phone.
There you go.
That's kind of the best way that I do it. But sometimes you got to mute your own name because, like, that's what I did during the season, just mute my name. Because then I can't really see anything related to me. I'll just see other
Does that
stuff.
include Pasquatch?
Yeah, that includes Pasquatch. The thing about having a weird last name is it's the only, like, people aren't just saying, like, the name Pasquantino on Twitter. You're not, or Pasquatch. Like, that's pretty niche. You're not just saying those things. So, yeah, you got to be careful with it, and you just got to roll with it. At the end of the day, people want to cheer you. Like, your own fans want to cheer the Royals, which means they want to cheer you. So if I just go play better, people will cheer.
2 segments will debut next week. Your power rankings, and we'll find any tweet that includes Pasquantino that does not involve you. Like, I'm going to go digging deep. For
yeah, that'll be a real short segment. Although I've got some cousins that are on Twitter, so maybe their tweets will show up.
Yeah, we'll find some stuff from them. How do you view one other team I wanted to ask you about? Since you know we got an idea of where you're on the Lions and the Chiefs. How do you feel about the Bills? Most people are kind of big believers. As a Jets fan, you've seen them a couple of times. How good do you think the Bills are?
I think the Bills are very good. I do think the Bills are very good. I mean, they've got a top, whatever you want to call them, quarterback in the league, and that seems to be the most important thing. They play solid defense from what it looks like. Like, I think Sean McDermott does a pretty good job with those guys of keeping them, like, they seem to be in every game. it's just tough. Like, does this game this weekend really matter? As much as it's gonna, be talked about, it matters what happens when these two teams play in January. And like, I think the Bills got a shot to win this weekend. But if they win this weekend, who cares? Like, who cares? They're not getting the 1 seed, it doesn't look like, and so they're going to be coming to Arrowhead at some point in the playoffs. And do you trust them to win then? If they do it then I'll start believing. But until then, I do not believe in them.
Vinnie Pasquantino, our NFL insider. Appreciate it, man. And we'll be in search of some of those promo items throughout the 2025 season. That's for sure.
That's right. All right. Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There you go.
See you, Vinny.
Vinnie Pasquantino joins us each and every week. Sounds like he knew about one of the promo items. He's like, I didn't. He's like, what?
He knew about the necklace. He had 3-4 items on the list, man.
He has a bunch.
There's like a stuffed animal thing. There's that, just a little bit of everything. I mean, think about it. Those are fun items to have.
Yeah.
Pasquatch, the Sasquatch, like all that stuff makes for great promotional items. Plus, he's a very likable player. The Royals have lots of likable players. I'm sure there's a Bobby Witt Jr. giveaway this year, too. But they also have all the 2015 World Series.
Yeah, there's the Hosmer bobblehead. It looks like there's a Hosmer bobblehead or figurine. The Hosmer one's like him shaking a champagne bottle. Like, that's the still shot, if you will, of it.
One Salvi with the goggles on his head, I think.
Yeah, it's some cool items for next year. That'll be very, very popular to head out to Kauffman Stadium. Thinking of Kauffman Stadium, if you were listening to Fesco and Dusty this morning, you heard there was an update on what they're hearing, or what Bob is hearing, I should say, on the stadium front for both the Chiefs and the Royals. If you didn't catch that, here's what Bob said a little bit earlier today about what he's hearing in the future homes for both.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now, and I think from what the conversations I was having with a lot of people yesterday, this thing is going to move fast and it's going to move quickly, and we're going to know maybe by the winter meetings where the Royals are breaking ground on their new stadium. And I talked to multiple sources on this now, so I have it confirmed from two different folks about what's going on right now in Kansas City, if you will, and I use the air quotes Kansas City on this one, because from what I've been told, the Royals are in real and advanced discussions with the state of Kansas to potentially build their new stadium in Johnson County.
Now, where would that location be?
Well, there are a couple locations that I'm hearing right now. There's a location right inside the 435 loop around Antioch, is what I've been told, is one location. And then the location that I think a lot of people are very fond of is 119th and Knoll on the old Sprint campus. And there, they already have 5 parking garages that exist.
So that's what Bob is hearing this morning, or in the last day or so, I should say, about the stadium front for both the Chiefs and the Royals, more so the Royals, right? That's really interesting, the timeline for starters, because it makes sense, right, Cody, that winter meetings, this time the season's over,
Sure.
Now you're done with the actual games, now let's focus back in on the stadium stuff. So that timeline makes more sense. We heard Clark Hunt on the Royals, on the Chiefs side of things, a couple weeks ago mentioned for them it's going to be more like the spring. But if the Royals, who already know and have already said they're leaving the complex, it's easier for them to be out in front here perhaps and decide on their future. I'll admit, I'm stunned by the sites, though. Not that they would consider Johnson County. That's been out there.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Right? Like, even though you and I both prefer downtown baseball,
Yes, obviously.
we've said that time and time again. We prefer
Crown Center location back.
Or anywhere downtown. But yes, the Washington Park or whatever. That was the most recent one. Johnson County location, it's not the first time that's come up. But that's it. 119th and Knoll in particular. I'll be honest, like, that's kind of a stunning spot for me. I'm not saying that that's not what is being told and what sources are saying.
Seems like a really stupid spot. Can I just say? Is that okay to say?
Well,
I hate that spot. It seems dumb, and I don't like it.
So it's an established area. That part makes sense. It's an established area, but to plop it down on 119th and Knoll seems like an absolute traffic mess. Just disastrous, if you want to know the truth, that area. Now, there's a lot already there. It's across the street from Town Center, so you already have shops and restaurants. But I thought the whole idea was that the Royals wanted to have some real estate that they own in terms of hotel, condo. I guess that's still a possibility. I mean, the old Sprint campus is a huge site. The other part that Bob mentioned there was they like the parking structures that are already in place. And look, that always becomes an issue. There on the original Sprint campus, there were 14 parking garages. There are like 5 or 6 left. Each one holds about 1,000 parking spots. So it helps. It's not all the parking that they would need. it helps. I just think that area, that corner is interesting. Yes, it's vacant, and a lot of the Sprint buildings are vacant, and the old Sprint buildings, and whoever owns that wants to get rid of them. I don't doubt that. I'm sure that developer would gladly make this happen. I just wonder, there's another project that's already right next door. You have the J, right? The Jewish Community Center already has their facility there. I'm just saying, like, there's other things on that spot that are kind of interesting. That location I find to be fascinating. That's actually one they would consider.
So I don't want to completely dismiss the developer maybe says we want to get rid of this, because I just missed that a little bit in the star section. I'm like, that guy just wants to get rid of that building, and that's.
You're right. You all good over there?
Yeah. That is the site that they inevitably chose. So, like, they weren't totally against working in that capacity. Baseball should not be in suburbs. Football, fine. I don't care. Like, it can go as far as the Legends or anywhere else in this city. If it goes to the suburbs, it kind of creates this issue. I will say that if part of their liking of this site is that parking garages don't exist, that is the dumbest, most idiotic, stupid reason to choose a site I've ever heard. Because parking garages already exist. Just build them. They're not that complicated from a structure standpoint. Just build them wherever you put the stadium. And I know that they got plenty of people on an exit poll telling them parking matters to them. Stop it.
And it does matter.
I need you all to stop talking about it if they're going to choose a site based on the idea that there are already parking garages there.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. They clearly like that aspect. I think it's part of the solution, and part of I doubt that's like the reason they like the site. I think it sounds like, from what Bob was saying, that's one aspect that they liked. We're talking like 5,000 spots. I mean, there used to be 14 parking garages there. And there's other, like, just because we call it the old Sprint campus, there's other businesses that are there. As someone pointed out on the text line too earlier, there's, I think Hill's Pet Nutrition just moved in there. Like, there's other businesses that are in that spot as well. That gets back to the whole displacing business thing and who, I don't know the exact number.
I just don't think you can build a stadium without doing that almost.
Correct. That spot, though, like right in the middle of established, like Leawood or whatever, and that's just a fascinating location. I think if anybody that lives in I guess Overland Park is where that corner would be, Overland Park, right? That area is in rush hour already, just a complete mess. I'm just trying to fathom what that looks like on a game day for the Royals. And it wouldn't necessarily be eminent domain. So like some of those businesses, and I keep mentioning the J in particular, I don't believe, and you can say the dollar amount, everybody has a price. I find it hard to believe that would actually be feasible for everybody.
I honestly, genuinely don't think the Royals know. Like, you want to know the truth? I think they're flirting with Kansas because they're not sure, and they're trying to make sure that, because, like, if we had Mayor Lucas on the show today, I bet he'd tell you he's still pretty confident.
Of course.
Teams are going to stay here in Kansas City.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, he has reason to be optimistic.
Yeah. And so, like, do I think both teams are going to Kansas right now? No. I don't think the Chiefs are making their decision until spring. They pretty much straight up told us that like a month ago. Yeah. So, I mean, they told us. The Royals have always been ahead in their timeline because they have told them from the beginning, we are not staying in that building forever. Do I think it's a scare tactic? Nah, it's probably a little too strong a language. I don't think they're just threatening to threaten anymore. I thought that was the original Royals plan. I was like, well, we can always go to Kansas. Once the vote failed, and this is what you and I talked about in the air, Royals and Kansas were not off the table anymore. I didn't think that was ever a serious thing until it didn't pass. When it didn't pass, okay, books open. We'll take some calls in other areas. I just don't like that spot. I'm allowed to not like spot. Like, for the most part, all the spots so far, I'd most been fine. Would I preferred East Village to the one they chose over by T-Mobile? Yeah. Did I like the North Kansas City, like, rendering better than some? Sure did. I just don't like the 119th and Knoll location. I want baseball closer to the middle of the city because of the 81 game aspect. I don't think anyone cares if they have to drive 30 minutes out of town to go to a Chiefs game, fundamentally, or shouldn't care, because it is 8 times, maybe 10, over a 4-month time period. I mean, it's a pretty small amount you're asking people to go out of their way to drive it. It's a whole day affair anyway. Baseball, you need people to walk up daily.
I'm not surprised they're interested in Johnson County, though. We've brought that up before over the last, year and a half or 2 years. And going back to season ticket holder bases for both teams and where a majority of the fans are coming from. I know it upsets people on the Missouri side whenever I bring up bring up the Chiefs numbers, obviously, on it, and like over half of the season ticket holder base being on the Kansas side and things like that. The Royals obviously have a much smaller season ticket holder base, and hopefully it continues to grow for them. But there's a lot of fans that are coming over there, and if you're trying to figure out how, you want to get families to go to these baseball games, the suburbs, I can understand the logic.
That's the Battery Atlanta thing.
I prefer downtown baseball, but I'm with you. Like, selfishly, 119th and not far from me. That's an easy drive.
You'd be real close.
I just think that area, from a traffic perspective and just overall the entire spot, is crazy. And I know the Bob and Dusty thought it was funny that I was trying to look at a map on where exactly the location looks like. I just like to be knowledgeable when I'm talking about certain things with stadiums.
If we're talking, like, if you say parking is actually a really big part of it, isn't just thinking about the area where they wanted it originally downtown. There's plenty of parking garages downtown where it's not like you have to. There's not a problem with parking garages downtown, or there's not a problem with parking in downtown compared to the location on Null. Like, it's not like the convenience of parking garages is already there downtown. I would think, unless there's not as many parking garages, I guess, downtown. I know there's a couple over by T-Mobile.
There's
it's not
always,
that far of a walk.
dude, I'll show you a map if you want, Drew, because this is the problem.
Just from being downtown, there's plenty of them.
There is a crazy amount of parking.
Yeah, I know.
Crazy. There are way more spots already than you realize.
100%.
Downtown. And I get like 913 saying like, hey, driving 30 minutes by the same suburbs, it'd be closer to the majority of their fan base. For the Chiefs, I agree. I don't actually have, that's generally been, it's not publicly released data. The general theory is that there's evidence to support that a little better than 50% of Chiefs season ticket member bases are in Johnson County. The Royals season ticket base, that has been released in a really long time. I can't tell you where a percentage of it. All I'm telling you is downtowns is pretty much 20 minutes from everyone in the city. Whether you live near the airport or you live where Gold does, you can get downtown in about 20 minutes.
Well, like what you said.
So, downtown baseball is just like, and there's more office space, more people who worked at all those other things.
I was going to say,
the fact there isn't in Johnson County.
There's more things to do where you like you said it, Cody, people just walk up and go to a game. There's things to do downtown where you're like, we're going to be downtown anyways. Why not get a ballpark ticket and we can go to a Royals game instead of just sitting out at the bar. Or you can just go hang out at the bar. Like, there's things to do enough where a Chiefs game is a day thing. You can make the Royals games into a day thing, essentially.
We'll see. The 435 and Antioch one makes more sense, but even that doesn't seem as far south as I guess I thought they would go with it.
Yeah, everybody was thinking more like 159th whenever anybody talked about Johnson County. Also, let's not forget there still was even though it's been focused more on the Chiefs in Wyandotte County, even the Speedway makes a little bit more sense. But we'll see ultimately how this plays out. This will, of course, not be the last update that we get. And keep in mind, with no matter where the information comes from on this stuff, some of it always is being used as leverage publicly for certain people involved in the situations. Like, you never know exactly where that message is trying to be delivered, right? From anybody that wants to talk, right, and give information. You just don't know, like, what's the thought of that. When the Washington State Park thing came out, like, there's a reason that leaked out. Like, that wasn't just by accident. Somebody was trying to do that for a reason, one way or the other, leverage or otherwise. Up next, we'll get to the 11 o'clock hour, talk a little bit more about the Chiefs, one thing that has to happen on Sunday, and one thing that looks like it's going to happen for the NFL moving forward.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Do you wake up with joint pain? Does it hurt when you do even the most routine physical activity? Have they told you it's time for knee or hip replacement surgery? Hey, it's Bob Fesco. Stop what you're doing and listen. You deserve a life of comfort and ease with no surgery and no meds, and QC Kinetics can get you there. You can have real lasting relief from chronic joint pain without drugs, without surgery, and without downtime. Discover your options with advanced regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics. The consultation is absolutely free. This is an all-natural approach that harnesses your own body's healing properties to treat the root cause of your arthritis pain. So call QC Kinetics today, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. It's QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. Call QC Kinetics today.
When you have an expert financial partner invested in you, you can't help but feel like a star. Like the new graduate opening their first investment account, the small business owner proudly adding a new location, or the young couple buying their first home. At Community America, we're invested in helping members achieve financial peace of mind with products and services tailored to each stage of life. Member-owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
It's Thirsty Thursday at Hy-Vee. Time to stock up the bar and fill up your tank. Earn 50 cents per gallon fuel savings on every $50 purchase of wine, beer, hard seltzer, and spirits. Mix and match all your favorite libations and get a 50-cent fuel saver with every $50 purchase. Stack up the savings and your next fill-up could be free. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday at your Kansas City, Missouri Hy-Vee. Product promotion differs by location. Offers valid where legal, available while supplies last.
I can't wait to watch the Chiefs go up and down the field and score a ton of points this year. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn fuel saver discounts equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, I save 42 cents a gallon when I spend $42. The more we score, the more I save, only at Hy-Vee. Offer good in-store and online. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com. And I look forward to working with you.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold. And for those of you who've been listening to the show for a while, you know all about our friends over at Centric and how you can find a brand new career in as little as 4 months. But did you also know that you can work with your current schedule with some of their flex options for learning online or in person?
Maybe you're just getting out of high school and want to start that career now and that career path now, or you're looking for that change with better advancement, better pay. Centric can do those things for you.
They have plenty of funding options like the GI Bill. You just got to go talk to our friend Russ at Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
You can find out what your home is worth in a matter of seconds by a true market expert. Go to homesforsaleandkc.com and click the button, How Much Is Your Home Really Worth? My friend Dawn Sharp and the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty, can help. If you want to skip the showings and open houses and go straight to sold, contact them to discuss their instant offer program. Contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp and the Sharp Homes team. Google Sharp Homes team or visit them at homesforsaleandkc.com and start packing.
I'm Brian Tedesco, CEO of Blaupunk Americas, the pioneers of the car stereo. Today, we're not just about sound systems. We are revolutionizing the e-bike scene with Blue Dot Bike. Thanks to AmericanEagle.com, our online presence now features a dynamic e-commerce website that showcases the quality and affordability of our foldable e-bikes. And our collegiate e-bikes, just perfect for the college fanatic. These e-bikes offer a new way to experience freedom on two wheels, no matter your age. When we needed a top-notch website to match our cutting-edge e-bikes, we turned to AmericanEagle.com. They made the impossible seem easy, tackling digital challenges like pros. Check out the Blue Dot Bike website to see AmericanEagle.com for marketing solutions. AmericanEagle.com is your go-to. They've been a game changer for us, and they can be for you too. Visit AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW-1. That's 877-WEB-NOW-1.
Yo, 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 Dad is in the house. What do you call the NordVPN Black Friday deal, huh? The Block Friday deal. Because you block online threats. Black Friday, Block Friday. Get it? It's hilarious. Get the NordVPN Black Friday deal and block online threats now. NordVPN is rated as outstanding on PC Mag. Just visit NordVPN.com and discover the benefits of this all-around cybersecurity tool. It will encrypt your online traffic, NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro tool will defend you against web trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. So improve your digital privacy and protection with one simple click. Get the special Black Friday deal at NordVPN.com and enjoy safer internet daily. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
You're listening to the all-new 96.5 The Fan, your new home for Chiefs football. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour here on a Tuesday. It's Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Reminder, coming up 1 hour from now, Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from The Athletics, going to stop by. Normally in the 1 o'clock hour, things got moved around a little bit today, so he'll join us a bit earlier. Plenty to get into. Is he hearing anything on the left tackle front? Are they actually calling around? Are they not calling around? What's the latest as reports today from Jordan Schultz that the Chiefs are planning to designate Isaiah Pacheco and Charles Omenihu to return from IR. Remember, that'll be the 21-day practice window. So it's good news, but it doesn't mean they're playing on Sunday. It could mean that they're not playing for 3 more weeks. But obviously, it's the step in the right direction that Chiefs fans have been looking for to see Pacheco and Omenihu get one step closer. That's what this is. One step closer to getting back on a football field.
I would just tell people, it varies. So Christian McCaffrey was designated to return from his IR stint and played the same week.
Yeah.
Plenty of players are designated to return from the IR stint, and you don't see him for 2 or 3 weeks.
I'm just basing it off of Andy's comments yesterday when we aired his press conference, and he said Juju Smith-Schuster is definitely closer than Omenihu and Pacheco. So that's where we're basing that off of.
Which makes me feel like they can't come back in the same week. Makes me feel like there's a 50-50 shot. Juju comes back this week, and the optimistic timeline for the return of Omenihu and Pacheco for me will be next week against the Carolina Panthers. Although, why the hell would you rush them back for the Panthers? Am I right? I mean, come on, guys. You can't be bringing players back from injury against the Panthers. What's the point? Just let them heal another week. Matter of fact, if anyone else has been feeling like a tight hamstring, they can also take the week off. I think they should actually, new working theory. Because the bye week is so late this year, or so early this year, and they don't have another one. They might not get another bye until they take a break in the playoffs. They should treat next week like a secondary bye and just give Travis Kelce the week off. Just give him the week off. He doesn't have to work next week. I'm staying. Take a vacation. Him and Taylor can go to a trip. I don't. He doesn't have to be in the facility. It can be a straight up bye week for him. I don't need Travis Kelce
doing the team.
I don't need Travis Kelce doing any work next week. He can take a mental and physical week off from the team against the Carolina Panthers and return for work the following Monday.
Conceptually, that's crazy. He's going to be like, hey, me and Taylor are in Bora Bora while you guys are smacking around the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, man. He doesn't need it.
Yeah, I definitely told you I don't think the target share, the snaps can be down a little bit. They're obviously not going to just flat out bench him, but for a game. But I hear you. I get it.
It's one of those games. It's one of those games. You go up 14-0. You bench all the starters and you just ride the thing out with Carson Wentz.
A 2-touchdown lead, and you want to pull the starters?
Yes, against Carolina. Yes,
Cody's all but guaranteed a Panthers win now. Look, they're so bad I can't even jinx it. The Chiefs would have to throw 9 interceptions or fumble
Panthers
the ball
are hot,
14
boys.
times.
They've won 2 in a row. And they've won 2 in a row, and they're coming off a bye week when they get set to play the Chiefs in 2 weeks.
That would be
Look out.
Hold on.
Maybe I haven't been paying enough attention. The Panthers are on a 2-game winning streak.
I think what I said is
I
think what I said was less disrespectful than what Cody said. Cody said, go on vacation. Don't even be around the team. You can go wherever you want to.
Take the week off. Enjoy your time.
They will get a bye week, potentially in Week 18 and the wild card weekend. I'm good.
Oh, they're coming off a bye week against Kansas City, too. Wow. Beating the Panthers and the Saints, taking a bye. Panthers and Saints. Or, sorry, they're beating the Giants and Saints is who the Panthers are beating.
Hey, they're feeling good.
Murderers Row. Those two.
They won in Germany, man.
There was one Panthers fan at that game, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw it at the end.
There was only one?
A single solitary second. There was one. They won the game. She was hugging everybody in the stand. They showed she was hugging everybody in the stand. She was going nuts over the Panthers getting the win. It was kind of funny.
This isn't even
cool.
meant to be a joke. Are there actually Panthers fans? Do they exist?
In Charlotte,
what do you think that life is like to be a Panther? I mean, God.
Well, they were in a Super Bowl actually more recently than some teams.
That's true.
Way more recently than our NFL insiders Jets.
Well, and Cincinnati,
the Texans
have
never been.
Cincinnati though. No, Texans. Texans are one of 4 franchises, right, to never even go to a Super Bowl.
Jaguars. The other one?
Yeah, I think them as well.
Jags obviously lost the AFC
You'd
title
rather be a
game.
Panthers fan than a Jaguars fan at this point. Or you've been better off being a Panthers fan than a Jags fan lately.
I mean, you got those Cam Newton years, I guess. At least that was kind of cool. Maybe. Jake Delhomme had a run.
They did. Steve Smith.
They've been to
Steve
two
Smith,
Super Bowls
Jake
in the
Delhomme.
last
They had a
20
run,
years.
you know? Maybe, yeah. You might have better off been a Panthers fan this entire time than a Jets fan, and that's sick. That's sickening. That's like the oldest franchise in the sport. I can't bring it up. Anyway, sorry.
People aren't happy
Distracted.
with you. And they're
I
saying
know.
that they want you to put something on the line now to guarantee a win against the Panthers.
What do I got to put on the line?
You already said that if they... What the heck did you say to
I don't
start the show?
remember
That you
now.
were going to punish yourself?
That if Florio didn't say that Andy Reid was thinking about retirement by December 1st.
There were some
I'd like to eat
suggestions for that
something.
punishment,
Yeah,
by
that's
the way.
fine. I'll go back and look at those. I forgot to look at
One of them was, just don't do the burrito thing that the K-State fan did, please.
Yeah. All right. So the Chiefs we know are playing the Bills Sunday afternoon. Yeah, do not do that. Sunday afternoon, right here on 96.5 The Fan, you'll hear the broadcast of the game as the Chiefs are playing in Buffalo. And based off of what the Bills themselves have looked like and how nearly perfect at times Josh Allen had been until this past week where he did make a couple mistakes, this, you think, and I think I agree with you, is the first game where it feels the Chiefs are going to have to be mistake-free. Whereas we know they obviously were not mistake-free against the Broncos. They found a way to win. They were not mistake-free against Tampa. They were not mistake-free against the Raiders. That's for sure when they set up the Raiders at the 5-yard line. They weren't mistake-free against the Niners in a 10-point win. This feels like, and this applies to the Bills too, both teams, if there was a scenario where you had to be mistake-free, this seems like that game on Sunday.
I think it's vitally important. No screw-ups. This is a no screw-ups game. And I think part of the reason I say that is the Bills, historically, have been capable of an occasional screw-up, including last week. Josh Allen made a really bad red zone interception. They're occasionally capable of the bad screw-up. So if you can avoid it, that's how you win. They have played the Bills a lot of times in the regular season. They screw up so much. Just all the time, man. And that's how they end up losing those games. It's mistakes and fumbles and bad play, all these like little things building up, and you can't beat teams like the Bills. In the playoffs, the Chiefs have played the Bills so near perfection every time. Like, look at that 13-second game. Josh Allen didn't do anything wrong to lose that game. Matter of fact, he did everything right. Almost perfect to win that football game. And the Chiefs still won. Why? Because Kansas City didn't screw up. You can't make the regular mistakes they've been making all season long. I also think that it's not an accident. The reason why they've won 3 games in a row here recently is because they have been not making as many mistakes. Against the Broncos, that was just a gross dogfight. They didn't like screw up a bunch. The play calling, maybe they didn't get in the red zone as much or score in the red zone as much, but they weren't turning the ball over, fumbling the ball, or the mistake was the Butker one. The one mistake almost cost them the game. I don't think you can afford any against Buffalo.
Yeah, unless it ends up being an
Not
outlier.
like 0 penalties. You get
Sure, no, we're mainly talking turnovers, right? I mean, that's really what we're talking about. You know, there's been some games over the years where the Bills and Chiefs have played, and each side has had a turnover or two. But this feels like a game in the red zone in particular. You know, the Chiefs were, up until this past week, were better in the red zone. Then they struggled against Denver in the red zone. It took a 4th and goal. Thank goodness they were aggressive to get that touchdown to Travis Kelce, as we discussed yesterday. But for Buffalo, Josh Allen, the level of play he's had this year, he hasn't made the red zone mistakes himself. And so what gives there? Can the Chiefs do what they did the 3 weeks prior to this past Sunday, which was start turning around and having more red zone success? 3rd down conversions were high. Is that going to get back to that against Buffalo? Or are they going to continue to struggle in the red zone? For the Buffalo Bills, can Josh Allen, a game against Patrick Mahomes where you know he's going to be even more amped up, will he go back to what he was in the past, which is late in the year, playoff time, he'll be in the red zone, and instead of throwing the ball away, he tries to force one, and the Chiefs, or any team for that matter, end up getting the big interception. That'll be the difference in the game, because Josh Allen has been a much more, I guess, smart football player in the red zone than he has in the past.
They are currently 3rd best in the NFL in giveaway takeaway, Buffalo. So, I mean, they've been very good. And you know why that is, right? They're taking the ball away the same amount they always take it away, Gold. They're not giving it away. That's the difference. Kansas City, meanwhile, has managed to crawl their way up to 20th. A team that was 29th for pretty much the entire season when Mahomes was throwing picks in the early part of the year. Over the last 3 games, Kansas City's actually better in the giveaway takeaway department than Buffalo is. I know it's a small sample size, but with 17 games sometimes, you got to pull small sample sizes. In the last 3 games, when Kansas City's continued to win and Buffalo has continued to win, Kansas City's been better at taking care of the football than Buffalo's been at taking care of the football. But that all goes back on Mahomes. He can't go back and have one of those picks. And he almost had one against Denver. That screen pass that ended the defensive lineman's hand, that's also just like one of those plays. Like, he didn't make a bad decision. That's just where the ball's going all the time. Like, your defensive player is supposed to make sure that guy can't touch the football. Your offensive lineman is supposed to make sure the defensive player can't touch the football in that scenario. I just think this is that kind of game, man. It's going to come down to who screws up the least. And the least, I think, is like 0-1. Buffalo's been far too good at it this year to think that it's just a fluke, man. They've played 8-9 games. Have they had their bye week yet, Buffalo? I think they actually have it after the Chiefs.
No, because they're no. If you look at their record, no, they have not.
So, I mean, it's just a team right now that can't – the Chiefs, because of the way that they're still trying to figure themselves out on offense, they can't afford a ton of mistakes against Buffalo. Obviously, they've been a lot of teams making a ton of mistakes for, 5 weeks? Didn't even matter. But not teams of this caliber this late in the season. I understand they made mistakes against the Ravens, against the Falcons, against the Bengals, and they won all those games. And those are good football teams. Those are playoff football teams. I just don't think that they've ever won against Buffalo when being the team that screws up the most.
We'll get to the trash of the day here in about 5 minutes or so, but we know the NFL had a game in Germany on Sunday. It was the Panthers and it was the Giants. There's some more international games in Germany, I think, coming up this week, if I'm not mistaken, as they continue to expand internationally. The NFL owners have approved up to 8 regular season games in foreign countries beginning next year. And according to Front Office Sports, some quotes from the commissioner, there's a push to double that number in the not so distant future. Next year, there's a very good chance the Chiefs are probably playing back in Germany as well. But we've seen this. The Steelers might be playing in Ireland. That's the other rumor that's out there. The Rooney family could have a game in Ireland next year. So we're just going to keep seeing this. All of a sudden up to 8 regular season games next year.
They won 16?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, and that's where you get into the double buys, and eventually, I think it's all going to correlate with scheduling. It's going to move to a 19 or 20-week schedule. We're going to have double buys, and everybody every year is going to play an international game. I think that's where this is.
One
this
or
is
two?
One.
Because that's the real question. 1 international game or 2? Because if they're trying to get to 16 full, I think you got to stop sending some teams over there for multiple weeks. I think it works with the 17-game schedule. Why go to 18? It's very simple.
Well, just because we know that's what they're going to end up doing.
8 road, 1 international. I solved it. There it is. No true home team, no true road team. 8 home, 8 on the road, 1 international. That's the deal. That's what we're all doing here. And that's the level that we want to do. I guess my only complaint is my interest level for 8:30 a.m. soccer or for football is almost nothing.
Really?
Like
this past week's matchup stunk.
So I guess what I'm curious is 913-586-7965. What is your thirst for like early morning football? Maybe it's just because like the kids and I have like a routine. We go through our normal thing. I mean, if I'm up and I'm not doing anything, I'm not saying I won't turn a football game on, but like my motivation to be like, ooh, sweet, now football for all 18 hours today is kind of low.
But the reality, even though we can say like it's kind of messed up, the reality is they're not playing that game at 8:30 in the morning for you or me in the United States.
They're playing it for the international
It is straight,
audience?
like it's not like they said, "Oh, we need to have 8:30 a.m. football." No, they're doing. We need to have international games. Just so happens the time zones it's 8:30 in the morning typically. That's what it is. I hear you. Trust me. But the whole international
it's
thing.
not for me.
It's not. It's not for any of us in the U.S. Even though it's America's game and all this, but it is clearly the expansion financially and growth of the game is what they're after. Call it being greedy if we want. But it's not about, do you want the 8:30 kickoff? I personally don't mind the 8:30 kickoff. Now, the Giants-Panthers game was an abysmal matchup. Like, that doesn't do anything for me. And I've told you, I would give the international games every single terrible matchup. Like, next year, the Chiefs have the Commanders on the schedule, and there's some rumors out there that maybe the Commanders-Chiefs could be the Germany game next year. I don't want that in Germany. That's a home game for the Chiefs, by the way. I don't want that. I want that at Arrowhead. Give them whoever. I don't know who else.
You want
would,
all Giants Panthers games they can get.
honestly,
Chiefs Panthers.
at this point, and the Chiefs are on the road at Dallas next year. I was trying to come up with give me a crappy team that the Chiefs face. We already had them play Miami, which was a great
Giants.
matchup.
They're
Have
playing
Chiefs.
NFC East?
Yeah, they're not going to send the Giants back to London next year. I don't think. It's the problem. Anyway,
do we already know? Oh, because we don't.
We know
most
of the
division
schedule.
games. Here's the thing I would do: just make it a division game. You know how many times I've seen Denver or the Raiders?
Usually they're
or the
hesitant to do
Chargers.
that.
Screw that. Who
That's
cares?
usually what they
I
stay
know
away
because they're
from.
like important games or
Well,
whatever.
they are,
Not
Cody.
for the Chiefs division. They're not.
Well,
they
it's
just
still a divisional game.
They're like 33-5 against them.
I'll be honest. I don't want.
Give me one of those over there.
I don't
Give
want.
me Raiders in Germany.
I don't
care.
want the Chiefs losing a home divisional game. Sorry.
So we have London.
I don't care about that.
So we have London. We have Germany. 2 cities in Germany, Munich and Frankfurt.
Yeah, maybe Berlin next year.
Berlin potentially. Spain, Brazil.
They got Titans on the road.
Ireland.
There you go.
All they need to do is add. All they need to do is add Scotland.
Colts at home. That one can go straight.
What
to
was that
Germany.
true? What was
Scotland.
Ireland. Ireland is where
Channel and go to
next year.
Scotland.
I told you.
Glasgow.
The only problem they're going to run into, and where the NFL and this is a societal thing, right? That the PGA.
Here we go.
Hold on. The PGA. It's been a while since I've been called Wokey Tap on the show.
Here we go.
That the PGA dealt with as well.
Ooh.
The NFL is like 2 years away from taking like copious amounts of money from like someone in the UAE to have a game there. And then everyone's going to accuse them of the same things the WWE have been doing to just take money from foreign governments that people don't trust. Or what happened with the Live Tour and essentially you're going to be taking it from people who are doing some pretty horrendous humanitarian things to a lot of people. And the NFL is either going to have to decide to take that money from like Dubai or choose to just like do them in these like friendly countries that people all agree are fine that they go to.
Well, that was why. I mean, I know that again. If they don't care about time zones, then Australia is another one that I know that it would be, or Japan. It would be, the game would be at like 11 o'clock at night for us, but maybe they're convinced that we're going to watch because we love American football.
They used to play preseason game. The Chiefs have played a preseason game in Japan before.
So I wonder if they
way back when, but yeah.
I wonder if that's just the thought of American fans are going to watch the games because they love American football on a late Saturday night, something to do, stay up late, especially if it's their team. We're going to be convenient to the Australian fans or to the Japanese fans, etc.
From the 913, 8:30 a.m. Sunday mornings, perfect. Wife sleeps till 11. Kids watch Bluey. I watch football.
I love it.
Wait.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Cody.
In the year of
that is beautiful.
Are there adult people who still get to or choose to sleep until 11 a.m.? 11 a.m.?
This guy's
11 a.m.? That's crazy.
This guy's husband of the year. He lets his wife sleep until 11 on a Sunday. You should try this. Let your wife sleep until 11. You'll handle everything. You got the kids. That seems like a great husband right there.
Honest to God, I don't think my body is physically capable.
I was going to say,
of sleeping till 11.
if you tried,
I think I'd have to stay up till 7 a.m. to sleep to 11. I don't think I am physically capable of sleeping until 11 a.m. anymore. I don't think it's possible.
I don't think 11 for me either. I definitely could do a good 9:30 or 10 though.
I can't think of the last time I woke up that late either. I mean, 8 would be like the latest
How late
I've
did you
gotten up
sleep
in the last year.
in Vegas?
8.
Blackout curtains?
8:15.
But you guys had things to do.
Not really. I mean, not like that many things to do.
I slept in until 9:30 this past Sunday.
Did you really? Good for you.
I'm a night owl though. Like I'll stay up and I'll watch. I guess for instance, college football. Like I'll watch that on a Saturday night. Go to bed at 1 o'clock, and it's still 8 hours of sleep. But it's not 11 to 7. It's 1 to 9.
Yeah, typically, on the weekends, typically I'm up by 7:30, but it just kind of depends.
I'm pretty much up by 6 every day. Sometimes maybe 7 on a weekend, but
sleeping in at 7. That's.
He sounds so sad for me.
I don't know that lifestyle.
Trash of the day.
All right, this one gets back into the food category after space yesterday. Today has to do with a viral Reddit post that actually inspired Reese's to do something.
Okay.
So they have launched a deconstructed peanut butter cup kit.
Oh, God, are we doing this again?
That's going to
Am
allow
I making another
fans
peanut butter thing?
to fill a huge chocolate shell with as much or as little peanut butter as they wish. So it's a giant 9-ounce milk chocolate shell and a lid. Plus, they give you a 10-ounce jar of Reese's Peanut Butter Cup filling, and you determine how much peanut butter do you want in there. So you make your own peanut butter cup. It is coming out. It came out a week ago. $29.99. They sold out in record time, so you can't get this anymore.
I don't know, man. Like, if you like a different peanut butter to chocolate ratio, Reese's is already offering that. At Easter, they're offering me that in the form of an egg. At Christmas, they're offering me that in form of a tree. Those are a heavier peanut butter to chocolate ratio already. I am given options. I would also say the minis versus the full size versus the mega cup. I have choices in my chocolate to peanut butter ratio already. I don't need to individually make these.
It's a strong point. I think it's clearly when they're selling it for $29.99, it's a gimmicky novelty type of item. Also, that peanut butter, there's just no way that peanut butter is tasting the same. And you're allowing me out of the jar as the pre-made, from the factory Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. And this show's a big fan of the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup.
I made one once.
Had a huge jar
it did or did
that
not
you
have
bought for holidays last
green
year.
onion in it.
And yours, you made homemade, had a green onion, and that was unbelievable.
I think I was going to have the take of Cody where I was going to question him, but you know what? Knock yourself out. As long as the regular Reese's Peanut Butter Cup is there for me to have, go ahead and build your own or whatever
What
you want
other
to call
candy?
it.
What other candy would you like? So this one, Deconstructed. Is there another candy you can think of where you could pull this off and you would want to be able to adjust the amount of
I don't know, like create your own
caramel
Nerds Rope or whatever?
Caramel or I don't know, picking peanuts or anything where you'd like to be
a Twix.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if you could do this with any other type of candy. Really.
I think this might be the only one where people discuss the ratio differences between it. I will say every single Halloween-based Kit Kat, the ones where they do like the white chocolate, I'll get those out of here. Get those like ghost finger Kit Kats. Get the hell out of here. Terrible.
Something from
awful.
I'm not a big Kit Kat fan anyway.
785 Reese's Peanut Butter Cups are gross.
What?
Really?
Get out of here.
Also,
do you not like? You just don't like peanut butter? I'm assuming that's what it is,
That might
right?
be
I
it.
mean, if you don't like a peanut butter cup, you don't like peanut butter, right? I mean, so or you're
you don't like
allergic,
chocolate.
or you're allergic. Maybe you're allergic to peanut butter, then it makes sense.
I feel like this is a funny one, too. This is regarding to our past conversation. For the 816, Cody won't buy his wife a present, let alone let her sleep in.
That's the present I'm going to get her next Mother's Day.
Oh.
She can sleep until 11 o'clock.
You should. You appreciate that.
Someone said Oreos, of course. That's probably the best answer.
Yeah.
Good answer.
You don't like Oreos, but that's a good answer. But again, they offer you light stuff, mega stuff, normal, double,
But imagine
triple.
you're saying it's too much. But
if
it's
you want a ratio of stuff in the middle, you get your choice.
I think, though, but it's, again, the novelty of you being able to scoop the Oreo filling and put as much on there as you want and do it yourself. Someone says, gushers with a syringe.
You want to read that last part?
I think it was something like this. Busted wide open for the Chiefs. That's what they said. They said they wanted gushers with a syringe that they wanted to burst inside of their mouth.
That's being cut. Thank you.
Seems like a problem.
When's the last time you had gushers?
I don't know. My kids, not really in the last year.
Drew, did you think I was asking him a different question? Is that why you were laughing?
No. I was
Goodness gracious.
I didn't know where it was going to go.
Well, that cut individual is probably not great.
That is the trash of the day. Up next, let's get back into why this regular season game sets up the way it does for the Chiefs and Bills. We'll also discuss a little bit more about how Spags attacked the Broncos.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Bob Fesco, and I'm here with Ryan Manning of Manning Roofing. We all know when a storm comes through, there may be a knock at your door with somebody trying to repair your roof.
Inexperienced guys will be out and getting homeowners to open up claims. A lot of the times they don't show up for those adjustments. Photo takers might not document everything, and when the file examiner takes a look at it, it ends up in a denied claim or a partial. Give us a call. We'll go from there.
Do what we did and set up your appointment today at manninggc.com or 816-448-8208. The choice is simple. It's Manning Roofing.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
The NBA is back, and FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, wants you to catch all the action. Right now, FanDuel is giving all users 3 months of NBA League Pass. All you have to do to catch every tip-off and buzzer beater is place any $5 bet on the NBA. And who isn't excited to watch the Lakers this year with LeBron and Bronny playing together? If you're new to FanDuel, just visit FanDuel.com/610Bob to get 3 months of NBA League Pass, courtesy of FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA and of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. After 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and our hotline is open. Annie from Kansas City, what's on your mind?
I want a dealership that I can trust for a lifetime. Is that you?
We're Google's highest review-rated and only locally owned Subaru retailer in Kansas City. That's a good start.
I just want a great deal. That's all.
How about 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models? That'll get you a low monthly payment. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Google highest review-rated Subaru retailer in Kansas City based on 2023 Google Analytics.
Hi, I'm Kim Myers, owner of Top Notch Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. We'd love to help with your plumbing emergencies, but the best way to ward off those expensive repairs is to schedule a $74 home plumbing inspection. We're still celebrating our 50th anniversary with top-notch deals like cleaning your dusty, moldy ducts for only $4.95. Think your furnace won't make it through the winter? Save thousands on a new Daikin system. Go to topnotchheatingandair.com for details. Thanks, and have a top-notch day.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Did you know that Wendy's has any size soft drinks for just $1? Yeah, any size, anytime. Like $1 Coke, $1 Sprite, or even $1 strawberry Fanta. Okay, could we maybe switch up the sound effect, please? 'Cause I'm losing it. Wow, no, not that. Any size soft drink for just $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. A la carte only. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED. And it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
Chiefs coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by award-winning Johnny's Barbecue in Olathe.
Football and barbecue fans, score big with Johnny's Barbecue tailgate packages. Whether you're hosting a home gate or a tailgate, Johnny's Barbecue has you covered. Check out our tailgate packages at johnny'sbbqkc.com. Located in Olathe and serving all of KC. Johnny's Barbecue. Taste the smoke.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Coming up in about 25 minutes or so, Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from The Athletic, going to stop by. We'll talk with him about what he's hearing, if anything, around the left tackle market. Talking about free agency, specifically, really, Donovan Smith. Does he believe the Chiefs are willing, or have they been in communication? And what he makes of the practice window opening up reportedly very soon for Isaiah Pacheco and Charles Omenihu, which is obviously great news for the future games ahead of Kansas City Chiefs. But this Sunday, for a regular season game, it is about as big as it gets, right? I mean, considering number one seed implications, considering we know the Chiefs and Bills have had this rivalry we're going on 5 years of this now.
Been a while. I would say, it was probably obvious to everyone going into the season this was going to be one of the single biggest games. But now that it's played itself out, it ended up being bigger. Or as big as Build. So, before the season, I think it was Pete Gradoff over the Star written a story. Before the season started, CBS made this their, they were Jon Snow in the middle of the field again. They made this to, if you give us no football games this year, we want Chiefs-Bills at 325.
Yeah, they locked this one in.
This was when they were ranking out the most important game for them to air all season long, it was this one. And so CBS knew before the season this was going to be a big
Are you
game.
saying it's scripted? They knew before? Is that what you're saying?
No.
That's how I took it when you said it there. It sounds like you think this was scripted. CBS knew that this was going to be the game. They're having their studio show on site at Highmark Stadium.
Do they? I could just have curiosity. Is it up more or am I just noticing it more, the league is rigged stuff?
Oh, it continues to increase week by week the more the Chiefs win. It's how non-Chiefs fans are coping with the Chiefs' domination of the NFL.
This is a fixed league?
That it's all set up for them, the refs, the league, Taylor Swift, all of that. Yeah, it's Cody, it's clearly all set up for Kansas City. Because I don't know about you, the NFL decided to pick one of the smallest media markets to make the most successful. They didn't pick Dallas or New York. No.
Buffalo's not even one of the biggest ones.
That would have been too easy. So no. It's scripted. They clearly wanted Kansas City to have all the fun.
Mm-hmm. Smart, actually, because the big media markets will draw numbers no matter what.
Yeah.
You got to prop up the small ones, but not too small, and then it's obvious. If it was the Panthers, you'd know. So, no, look, I think that when you look at the way this is on paper, someone's going to try to tell, Vinny was on with us later. Well, if you missed our VenFL Insider, we'll give you a chance to hear that again coming up at 1:30. But if, he's like, is it a big game? Technically nothing changes, right? If the Chiefs lose, they're the number one seed, and the Bills are the number 2 seed, or number 3 maybe, right, if they lose, right? So then maybe they move the needle a little bit, and this week, one of the two teams who's competing for you near the top of the AFC is going down. Pittsburgh and the Ravens play each other. One of the two of them has to lose, right? So, when you're going back through the schedule, does it have a massive impact? Yes, because the Chiefs can win the number 1 seed this weekend. I don't want to try to make it seem like this is some small game. They are in a I would say, the most hostile place to play in the league that is an Arrowhead, in my opinion, is Buffalo. I think it's one of, if not the most difficult stadium to play in as a road team.
Yeah.
They have a quarterback playing at an MVP level. They are the only team right now that seems like a real threat, in my opinion, for the number 1 seed, and you reopen that door versus close it in a single game. These have been the 2 best teams over the last 5 years. This game is a massive regular season game by comparison.
Well,
there have been so many just so-so ones this year. This is a huge one.
It'll shift narratives if that matters to you. You may ultimately say, I don't care what people nationally are saying about this team, but the result on Sunday is going to have a huge swing in the narrative. If the Chiefs lose to Buffalo, you're going to have everybody come out of the woodwork and said, see, now they finally played a good team, even though you look at the Chiefs' schedule, they've played multiple teams that are going to be in the playoffs. It looks like Atlanta playoff team, Baltimore playoff team, Chargers playoff team, Niners playoff team, I believe. There's a chance Denver ends up in the playoffs. There's a chance Tampa's in the playoffs.
Chance Cincinnati's in the playoffs.
Don't tell Drew we said that. But yeah, there you go. There's a chance.
There's at least 5 current playoff teams, and if one of those teams doesn't become a playoff team, they're pretty much stealing the spot from the other. So it's like if Denver isn't a playoff team, it's probably Cincinnati that is, or the Chargers, vice versa.
It's a swing
between those three.
And then on the other hand, if the Chiefs win, maybe there'll be some reason why people won't. But then I think you'll get more and more people on board. Like, okay, this thing is happening.
How could you doubt it
this
after
team is going to be once again in an AFC title game, except it's going to be at Arrowhead again, and they're not going to have to go on the road like they did a year ago.
And that's what's funny about that is like the whole storyline is, well, they've done it a lot from home. Can they do it if they got to travel? Traveled in 2 straight games, didn't matter. Like it just we're heavily outnumbered at the Super Bowl again for the second straight
year. And there's a very good chance
Didn't
if they
matter.
were to get back to the Super Bowl and go to New Orleans this year, especially if it's the Lions. But,
if it's the Lions, it might be 80-20.
I mean, yeah.
They've never been to a Super Bowl.
Everybody, no matter who the Chiefs face, we know we're in this point now in the Super Bowl. The public will all be on this opposite side as far as who they want to win. Nobody's pulling for outside of Kansas City. Nobody's pulling for the Chiefs. I mean, heck, the 72 Dolphins were the cork of the champagne was halfway out. I bet on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Thinking they were going to be able to pop the bottle of champagne to celebrate still being the only unbeaten team.
Well, those guys
that
are still
continues
up to
for another
live.
week. There's a few that have unfortunately passed away recently, but yeah, they've got it
With a win, by the way, on Sunday, the Chiefs will have the 7th longest winning streak in NFL history at 16 games. If you're curious what the record is, it's 23. I guess the Colts won a Super Bowl and then started the season like 12 or 13-0 or something kind of ridiculous. 23 is the record by the Colts. 2 more pretty much get you in the top 3. There's a pretty decent separation between 2 and 1. At least in this one. But with this one, it'll put you on the list. Like, you'll be on the Wikipedia page of longest winning streaks in NFL history is essentially what you're looking at. Because 16 games in a row is a lot. We talk about all the time about, like, what an accomplishment it would be if the Chiefs actually went undefeated. This is a whole nother part why this game matters. 16 consecutive games? I mean, think about the opponents they played in that. If they beat Buffalo on Sunday to win 16 consecutive games, they would have beaten Cincinnati twice, Buffalo twice, the Ravens twice, everyone in their division like 3 times. Like, I mean, just think twice, right? Just think about how many good football teams they would have had to beat to do it, because part of their 16 in a row wouldn't have just been a regular season.
Right.
It'd have been 4 games in the postseason. And what we just pointed out, 5 teams that are actively in the playoffs as it sits right now in the NFL. Be a hell of an accomplishment. But that's the other thing, because if all the other stuff I just said that made this thing a big game, hostile environment, the team and all that, you're also undefeated, which means maybe you're not chasing that big prize to its full extent yet. I think that gets to like 12-0, 13-0. But I mean, you still know you're 9-0. They know you're 9-0.
We'll see.
They know you're undefeated.
Ride this thing out as long as possible. I mean, and it takes all the pressure off of you later in the year. Even if you drop a game, if you start 12-0. Like the number 1 seed at that point is over. It's probably over after this week, honestly, getting to 10-0. But 12-0, then yeah, I guess eventually there's maybe perfect season pressure that kicks in, as you said, week 13, 14 or something like that. But in general, in terms of pressure of making sure that you can't drop a game or you'll lose the 1 seed,
that'll be gone.
That kind of stuff goes away if you get to 10-0 with a win against Buffalo here.
This will be, you know what? I think later this week, either tomorrow or Thursday, I think we need to give an updated win projection guess. Because that to me becomes interesting, because if they lose 1, it seems easier for me to be like, 14-3.
What was our preseason all the way
you
around?
You were 14-3, and I was 13-4.
Drew,
I was
13-4. Same boat as me.
I mean, all are obviously in play still. I mean, 4 losses
They'd have to
right now.
go 500.
4 losses seems almost crazy now. 3 still is definitely in play. If they lose to Buffalo. If they lose to Buffalo, I don't know how I'm not bumping mine up tomorrow to 15 or on Monday to 15 and 16.
I will say, I looked up teams to start the season 9-0 who are the defending Super Bowl champions, are 4 of them. 1 of them did lose 4 games the rest of the way still somehow.
Who was that?
Patriots.
Now, did they win the Super Bowl?
They did not.
They get to the Super Bowl?
They lost in the AFC Championship game.
Okay.
So
did any of them not make the AFC title game?
Yeah, 1 loss in the divisional round.
Who was that?
Sounds like a Steelers, maybe. Loss.
I don't remember. Yeah, it's just one of those teams. And look, I didn't look up everyone's injury history or if someone had lost it or the things that came with it. But, sometimes you run into the playoffs and things happen. Not typically under Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and everyone else in between, but it certainly does happen. Just real quick on Andy Reid, since we're mentioning this and they're undefeated and all this stuff. I got on DraftKings this morning, and for the first time all season, Andy Reid is the co-favorite to be coach of the year at plus 400 with Mike Tomlin. And all I can say is it's about time he got some respect because I know he's still not likely to win this award. I know he probably still won't win the award. But every year when they list off their 5 most likely guys to win coach of the year and Andy's name isn't even on it, it's kind of offensive because it's just fundamentally not true. The man has to be undefeated halfway through the season. He get his name on the list.
You know what I think it took?
As of this morning, he's the co-favorite on that side. I think other sides are different, but on that side, he's the co-favorite.
It took Patrick Mahomes having a slow start to the season. I think the reason Andy's coach of the year favorite is because Patrick Mahomes statistically is not having that season where people are putting it all on Andy at the moment as to why they're 9-0 more, I think, than anything else.
Maybe. Maybe
That's the way
so.
that I think that would be the reasoning of it.
No, I can see that. I think a lot of it is, number one, of course, they're undefeated. The second part is the injuries that Andy's overcoming.
Yes.
And so if you want to throw in Mahomes to that as well, and that narrative, it's all narrative driven. This is why we say shop around. FanDuel, for example, Andy Reid is plus 6.5 to 1.
Oh, so you can get better odds.
So you can get better odds. Now, actual order, he's tied for the 6th best odds. Or there's 3 of them tied.
What a difference between two sites, huh?
So Dan Quinn is plus 430, Dan Campbell 5 to 1, Mike Tomlin 5 to 1, and then Andy's actually, I guess, tied for the 3rd best odds. He's tied with Harbaugh, Kevin O'Connell, all at 6.5 to 1. Then Jonathan Gannon, if you even know who the hell that is, he's the Cardinals head coach. He's 7.5 to 1.
The fact you had to say it really tells the story.
He's not winning.
They're saying it's a completely open race.
I'll just be honest. If you think Andy Reid's winning coach of the year, then you, one, should bet them to have a perfect season, and you should be potentially betting the Commanders to blow the division lead that they have in the NFC East. Because if Andy wins 15 games and Dan Quinn and the Commanders win 12 and win the NFC East, Dan Quinn's winning coach of the year. That's just how this stuff goes. Nobody is saying that Andy Reid's not doing an unbelievable job, is not the best coach in football. Of course he is. But the way the award works, that is voted on by members of the Associated Press, if Dan Quinn wins the NFC East in year 1 with a rookie quarterback and Andy only gets 15 wins, he will not win it.
It's an overachieving award.
He will not.
15
exactly,
and 2.
Drew. It is that there's literally you can look at the history of the award. It usually
that is overachievement.
There are certain coaches every year you typically can eliminate. There's the group of coaches like where the Raiders are at, where Antonio Pierce, they're not good enough to win enough games to get there. Then there's the group of coaches that won 5 games last year, but now you think they can win 11 or 12. There's the group of first-year head coaches, gives you a chance to win. Then there's the group of coaches that are expected to always be great. Kyle Shanahan, Andy Reid. Mike Tomlin is in contention because nobody thought expectation-wise that they were going to be
good.
Everybody knew Kansas City was going to win the division. Nobody thought they were going to potentially go perfect. That's why he's at 6.5 to 1. The scary thing and why I would never bet on Andy Reid to win Coach of the Year in this scenario at 6.5 to 1. One loss, Cody, and he falls to 20 to 1. Boom. I'm telling you, one loss and it falls off.
So you're saying just wait to bet until at least after.
Honestly, the number if they lose to Buffalo on Sunday, that's 6.5 to 1. I think it goes to 14 to 1, 15 to 1.
I don't think either of you guys mentioned Sean McDermott either, correct? And they're in contention
He's
for
at 40 to 1 to win Coach of the Year.
Crazy.
Bill Belichick, even though he's in the same boat as Andy and these coaches you mentioned, he won it 3 times. Andy Reid has exactly 1 AP Coach of the Year, singular 1. He has coached a team that has gone to an AFC or NFC championship game more times than not.
Yeah, but the award
he's
vote,
like 50-50 to get to a conference title game.
The voting is done before the postseason. So in this conversation, the postseason doesn't matter. It obviously does for how we view him in his Hall of Fame case.
It's hurting him apparently in the Coach of the Year.
But
vote.
For the the award is voted on before the postseason. So I hear you that we know what he's done in the postseason. This award is based off of exceeding expectations and maybe being a first-year head coach, and at least with that particular team, and that's where Dan Quinn with a rookie quarterback. That's why you get why he's a favorite.
Yeah. So truth is, I don't think Andy's going to win the award, but in a weird way, I take the small victory of good. At least you're including his damn name. He's lost his number 1 and number 2 wide receiver, his number 1 running back. He had to change left tackles. His quarterback's not playing at a high level. What's his team doing? 9-0. And they've got the pressure of facing a first, because like this is the other thing is the thing I think I don't like about the way these leagues vote for award is they don't like the idea of, like, we had Vinnie on earlier, we asked about MVP. They don't like the idea of having to think about it. They don't like the additional context part. The additional context being the Chiefs are playing a first place schedule.
They want it to be easy.
And Washington is playing a last place schedule. And the fact that schedules should matter. The difficulty of your division should matter. Like, yeah, preseason expectations hold weight. Of course they should. But they favor that more than like 10 other statistics that point to why Andy Reid is deserving to be. Like, if they made Coach of the Year halfway through, he should win the award today. If NFL Coach of the Year was a mid-season award.
Dan Quinn would win it if it was today.
It shouldn't be Dan Quinn.
But he has a rookie quarterback.
Well, it depends on this would say it'd be him or Tomlin, Andy or Tomlin. That FanDuel's saying it would be Quinn. See the favorite there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what you're saying, Cody, is that you want them to basically do what the BCS did with the calculators, put all the calculations in, tough schedule.
I actually think the BCS got a bad rap.
And you know what? It's gonna come out as Andy Reid every single time, probably.
Newsstands. Get rid of the College Football Playoff Committee. They don't actually watch any of the football games. Bring back the BCS rankings.
It actually might be
to decide the 12.
It might be better.
I'm not kidding.
Your point might be very valid.
My stance is to bring back the BCS. I want to make that clear now. Gold, your thoughts?
Have them vote on 12.
The BCS bad?
I'll say in hindsight, now what we know, the BCS was not as bad as everybody thought it was at the time. In general, I still like the playoff format, though.
I want the playoff format just with BCS rankings to get the 12.
Yeah.
I want both.
Either way, people are going to, bitch and moan about it either way.
At least you know the algorithm.
Like, people will, though. I mean, this year, whoever the 13th team is, they'll still argue they were robbed or whatever. It's just like you could have 25 teams in the playoff, and the 26th team would claim that they had a spot. It's like, at some point, there's enough darn spots. You didn't do enough to get in.
I never do feel all that bad for the bubble teams in like the NCAA.
Oh, that's why Seth Greenberg at Vodtech many years. Seth Greenberg was notorious. Now he actually works for ESPN, as we know, for many years. But when he was the head coach of Virginia Tech, every year he would complain, "We should have been. You didn't do enough. You played 35 basketball games.
We have to play Duke and North Carolina and NC State and Maryland back then.
That's why you're even on the bubble. That's why you're on the bubble. Otherwise, you really wouldn't be on the bubble.
You wouldn't even be in the conversation.
Indeed.
Since they don't give Coach of the Year to defensive coordinators, which maybe then Spags would be in the mix.
There is a new award category. I'm not even kidding this year for coordinators.
Well, he's going to win that award.
There is.
Spags about to run away with that thing. Him and Ben Johnson are going to go do battle for it, unless it's split between
I don't think you can bet on it right now. It's on the board. At one point, you could bet there was assistant coach of the year. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Spags is probably going to win that. I think what stood out to me, and like we always talk about the defense and what, like, we know they're great. We come in here and we're like, oh, look at what they did. They did it again. Held a team to 14 points. They did it again. One play in particular in that game, I went back and watched because it stood out to me in the absolute heat check that Spags is in right now as a defensive coordinator. He does not care if you move the ball in the first two quarters of the game. He will just stop. In the third quarter of that game, Steve Spagnuolo sent a blitz that stopped a drive from continuing to happen on Bo Nix, in which he sent on the blitz his number one corner, Trent McDuffie, and his number two corner in Najee Johnson. He sent his only two guys who have good cover skills on the same blitz. Do you know how sure you have to be you're getting to the quarterback if you're going to send your number one and number two corner on a blitz? That's also why it worked. No one actually thinks you're sending both your top cover guys.
Timing is everything.
It's crazy.
Timing sometimes is everything in those situations. And I don't remember the exact down or
it's
the
Curry
down and distance.
Turning around as he hits the three.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact down and distance, but that factors in game flow, what you had seen from their protection. They obviously don't have enough to match up and block when you're blitzing that kind of that many defenders, I should say. So yeah, I mean that was really impressive. I mean that's why Spags has been so successful. He's aggressive. He's great at disguising blitzes, timing of him, all of that.
He'll send anyone because like that's the other part. The willingness to send anybody is, I think, what gets people. Like, that's what confuses, I think, us versus them a lot of times. Because like every year I feel like I'll have like this is like a bar top conversation, Gold, right? Your local bar, whatever, you're having a beer. The conversation I've been into is like, well, I see that Tyrann Mathieu's going to leave. What are they going to do about that guy who's blitzing from the secondary, right, Gold? And you're like, I don't know, okay. Or they're like, well, I'll just send somebody else. Well, Justin, someone else. Jerry Sneed used to be the guy who blitzed from the secondary a lot, right? Who do they start? McDuffie, Najee. They don't care. The corner who actually does the blitzing is actually wholly unimportant to them, which is also another impressive thing. How is he convincing these guys all to have the timing of the next guy previous to them? How is it always so good? It is like the unsung part of the defense that stands out as me to being something that is like so overwhelmingly important that I can't understand how they're able to coach that on defense, that everyone can blitz. Everyone blitzes successfully, and we will literally send anybody. It doesn't matter. It's crazy.
That's who Spags has been his entire time. You know what I mean? Yeah, you have to have the personnel to execute it, and he certainly has that. Brett Veach and the coaching staff put together a great roster. But the way he coaches defense and his aggressive nature, that he can go back to his days with the Giants or with the Rams or whatever. I mean, that's just who he's been and why he's had so much success. You know, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Jalen Watson, who unfortunately, as we know, is done for the season or appears to be done for the season, he was on Twitter watching the game, and he basically said something along the lines of what we're saying here, which is like, I'm telling you, Spags can dial it up whenever he wants. You know, it's like whenever he wants to, basically, whenever he wants to get after you, he can get after you. Now, doesn't mean it's always going to work.
But like
if
that Super Bowl play, right? When he blitzes,
knows,
it gets him out of his comfort.
There's still, if the quarterback just makes a great play, it can still get you. But he knows what he can get if he wants to just get pressure on you, plain and simple. And against a rookie quarterback, that was an opportunity for him. Now, I thought Bo Nix in general handled it pretty well throughout much of the game, except the Najee Johnson sack where it was a 17-yard loss. Probably should have been like a 10-yard sack, and it was 17 because Bo Nix thought he could actually get out of it.
Yeah, he's going to have to figure out a way.
He runs backwards a lot in the pocket.
And he's not Lamar Jackson, so he shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Like, Lamar Jackson might actually get out of that. I don't want to say for sure.
Well, yeah.
You're Bo Nix. You moved.
Are you saying that Bo Nix, Lamar Jackson
Lamar
are
did it
not
on
the
Thursday
same?
night.
Yeah,
he ran back 15 yards and then almost got a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he is allowed to do that. People play by different rules. It's the same thing. It's like if you are a Chiefs tight end or wide receiver, you come in the league. Do nothing Travis does. He can teach you nothing. Don't follow him around. Don't listen. Like he's doing different stuff than you. He's doing a different job. Don't listen to him. Don't watch him. He's doing a different job. What he's doing out here ain't what you're doing. You're running where we tell you to run. He's just running where he feels like it, which is fine. It all works. Patrick knows where he's going. They got a great relationship, all those things. But yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Up next, we're going to get to what's trending. Then we're going to be joined by our Chiefs insider from The Athletic, Nate Taylor. We want to ask him about the left tackle situation and what's he hearing timeline-wise now that we now know it looks like we could see Charles Omenihu and Isaiah Pacheco have their practice windows open up.
Cody and Gold.
I didn't sleep well. I was drunk.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
NBA is back, and FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, wants you to catch all the action because right now, FanDuel's giving all users 3 months of NBA League Pass. All you have to do to catch every tip-off and buzzer beater is place any $5 bet on the NBA. Look about this upcoming season. The Lakers with LeBron and Bronny obviously playing together. You want to see the Celtics repeat. They're in action tonight, as a matter of fact. And if you're new to FanDuel, just visit FanDuel.com/Alex. Use that promo code to get 3 months of NBA League Pass courtesy of FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA, and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. After a 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime, no refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Men, it's the holidays, the season of all kinds of hustle and bustle. But if your energy is down, if you aren't sleeping well, if your sex drive is MIA, and you just don't feel like the guy you once were, maybe it's tough to get excited for all the holiday cheer. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if this sounds like you may have low testosterone. And if so, this is the season for you to get treated. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating low T. If you're like most guys, you'll feel the change in just a few weeks. And truly, the results can be life-changing. You'll have improved mental clarity, your energy will kick up, your workouts will be better, your sleep patterns will improve, and your sex drive will likely heat up as well. So call us and don't go through another season with low T. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Always better with a roof from JR.
We've had more than our fair share of hail and wind this year. Are you playing Roofer Roulette? That's when you bet your roof and your home on the first random roofer to ring your doorbell. Why do that when JR and Company offers a free hail and wind report online at jrstormcheck.com? Just plug in your address and we'll pull a multi-year storm report. You'll know exactly what your roof has been put through and if you even need an inspection. If you do, no one is more thorough and works better with your insurance than locally owned, veteran-owned JR and Company. And if you need a new roof, remember, a roof from JR comes with a lifetime warranty on workmanship. Don't play Roofer Roulette with your home. Visit jrstormcheck.com and remember,
You're always better with a roof from JR.
Visit jrstormcheck.com.
I'm McCall with Lisa Mitsuber, and our hotline is open. Annie from Kansas City, what's on your mind?
I want a dealership that I can trust for a lifetime. Is that you?
We're Google's highest review-rated and only locally owned Subaru retailer in Kansas City. That's a good start.
I just want a great deal. That's all.
How about 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models? That'll get you a low monthly payment. Fall in love with driving again at Lisa Mitsubaru.
Google highest review rated Subaru retailer in Kansas City based on 2023 Google Analytics.
Hi, I'm Kim Myers, owner of Top Notch Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. We'd love to help with your plumbing emergencies, but the best way to ward off those expensive repairs is to schedule a $74 home plumbing inspection. We're still celebrating our 50th anniversary with top-notch deals like cleaning your dusty, moldy ducts for only $4.95. Think your furnace won't make it through the winter? Save thousands on a new Daikin system. Go to topnotchheatingandair.com for details. Thanks, and have a top-notch day.
It takes a lot to prepare for game day as a dedicated fan, and preparing the perfect tailgate meal might be most important of all. That's why Hellmann's Real Mayonnaise is the MVP. Hellmann's Mayonnaise is the secret to bring out the rich and creamy taste to all your game day dishes, from buffalo chicken dip to your favorite sub sandwich and everything in between. So give it a try, and mayo game day be delicious with Hellmann's Real Mayonnaise. Shop at your local Walmart, Kroger, or grocery store, and add some extra deliciousness to your game day dishes this football season.
This holiday at T-Mobile, I'm joined by a special co-anchor.
What up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Snoop D-O Double G.
Snoop, let's talk about T-Mobile.
Okay, cool.
This holiday, get 4 lines for $25 a line, plus 4 iPhone 16s with Apple Intelligence and the all-new camera control on us.
Let's get cracking, like a breakfast egg.
You can use those eggs to make some eggnog, Snoop.
Respect.
And people do love T-Mobile, where you can save on every plan versus the other big guys.
You know, y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
Always a great stocking stuffer, Snoop.
We up out of here.
Hold your horses, Snoop D-O Double G. Let's remind people one more time.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get 4 iPhone 16s with Apple Intelligence on us, plus 4 lines for $25. Now drop that jack.
With 24 monthly bill credits, 4 eligible trade-ins, and 4 new lines with AutoPay. Well-qualified customers plus taxes and fees and $35 per line connection charge. Cancel entire account before receiving 24 bill credits, and credit stop and balance on required finance agreements due. $829.99 credits end if you pay off device early. See how you can save on wireless and streaming versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence available now.
This Thanksgiving at Total Wine and More, find bourbons and Cabernets that you adore.
With curbside pickup available and the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine and More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Shop early, save big, all month long during Black Friday build-up at Lowe's. Right now, get select pre-lit artificial Christmas trees starting at just $59.98. Don't wait to save. Shop these deals today, in-store or online, because Lowe's knows deals. Discount taken at time of purchase while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
Listen to the Chiefs and Bills game on Sunday with pregame starting at noon. Kickoff at 3:25 with Mitch, Danon, and Kling. Right here on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM. HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey Sports Station. What's trending?
Number one on What's Trending is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. Well, the news today centers around Jordan Schultz's report. He says that the Chiefs are expected to designate Isaiah Pacheco and Charles Omenihu to return. Now, what does that actually mean? It means a 21-day window is going to open up. They could play in the next week. It could be 3 more weeks, though, before they play. But it's a great step in the right direction. We're going to talk more about this with Nate Taylor here in about 5 minutes or so, our Chiefs insider.
Next up on What's Trending, Bobby Witt Jr. was officially named an MVP finalist yesterday, which is going to come back with a comp pick for the Royals because they did not sit him in the minor leagues in the early stage. Just long in the first few years, you finish as a finalist for the MVP. You get one of those Series A comp picks, which means the Royals will have 2 picks in the top 40,
nice.
3 in the top 60 because they got a competitive. They actually traded one, or they'd have 3 in the top 40. You remember in the last calendar year. Q, Cotrero was named a Manager of the Year finalist, and Seth Lugo, a Cy Young finalist for the Royals. Not a shocker. No. The Royals went from 58 wins to a playoff team. I'm not surprised to find out they got an MVP finalist, a Manager finalist, and a Cy Young finalist. Those are the kind of things that have to happen for you to win that many games.
No doubt. We're going to talk more about what one of those represents, I think, for the future with the Royals in particular. No, it's not Bobby Witt Jr. It actually is one of the other 2. We'll explain that in a second. Next up on What's Trending, some movement in Chicago with the Bears organization. We were talking yesterday about the Bears organization typically doesn't fire a head coach midseason, but they'll fire a coordinator. They did last year, and they just did it again. Shane Waldron out as the Bears offensive coordinator. He had come over from Seattle. Last year, they fired their OC, who then was the OC in Vegas this year, who already got fired as well. Maybe, just maybe, Cody, maybe, just maybe.
Might be the head coach.
Might be the head coach is a problem, not just the scapegoat OC, although the Waldron hire, didn't like it in the offseason. We talked about it at the time. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to pair up with Caleb Williams.
No, it didn't. And he is certainly, and their offensive design team is certainly part of the problem. But Eberflus is the people putting these guys in charge, so what can you say? Next up on What's Trending, speaking of finalists, Temwa Chawinga is a finalist for the NWSL MVP award over at for the KC Current. She's going to win it. She set goal records across the board. She's going to win it. So that's a big news for, obviously, the KC Current. They also had candidates for Midfielder of the Year, including Labonta, Rookie of the Year, and Coach of the Year. Vladoff. And, we might make a huge thing about the Royals turnaround. This is one of the single biggest turnarounds in NWSL history, too. Where they went in the table to where they are now, it's a huge swing for the KC Current, who actually play in their semifinal this weekend.
Yeah, they'll play Sunday afternoon out in Orlando against the top seed in the NWSL. Real quick, last one on What's Trending. College basketball. Missouri Tigers get the win against Eastern Washington yesterday, 84-77. And tonight, the Champions Classic.
It is mid-November.
That is KU against Michigan State. At least it's the early game, 5:30 versus the late one where sometimes that thing gets started really, really late. So I do like that they're the early game. They already have a win under their belt against top 10 UNC. Why not add another top win against Michigan State
Kentucky
tonight?
The other one tonight?
That is. That's the rotation that they got for the Champions Classic. That is What's Trending here on Cody and Gold. But let's get right back to the Chiefs. We alluded to this during What's Trending about Isaiah Pacheco, Charles Omenihu. Nobody better to talk to about this than our Chiefs insider from The Athletic, Nate Taylor. Usually joins us in the 1 o'clock hour on a Tuesday. So no, you're not messing up your day or anything like that. This is just a one-off here. It's good to have Nate join us at noon. I want to start right there, though, with some reporting out today suggesting Pacheco and Omenihu could have their practice window opened up. Is that what you're hearing? And is it going to be a full 21 days, you think?
Hey, thanks for having me on, fellas, and I appreciate you guys moving the schedule around for me because, trying to do what I guess the kids call, work.
Overrated.
Overrated, easily. So here's what I think. Yes, they're going to open up the practice window for Pacheco, for Omenihu, but I want to temper a little bit of the enthusiasm. Do not expect either one of these players to play against the Buffalo Bills on Sunday unless they have amazing practice weeks or something that we can't foresee happens in the work week in terms of practice. Like, if something was to happen to obviously we don't want this, but if something were to happen to Kareem Hunt, right? Or if Mike Dana suffered a setback with his own, list of injuries, and that's, I believe, calf, hamstring, pectoral muscle. Mike Daniels really been gutting it out, which is why his production is obviously, tapered off a bit because he is playing hurt. But one of the reasons is because you don't have a Minihue, and you just traded for Joshua Uche, who, is still got his head in the playbook, right? So I think it's a great sign that both guys are definitely coming back, that they're definitely going to be around Thanksgiving when the season gets really real and you're now in the sprint for the 1 seed, of course. But I do think them being a part of this week in practice, whether that's, hey, you're doing more stuff on scout team, or, hey, you're just trying to give guys different looks while also building up your conditioning, your football shape, your rhythm, your timing with your teammates, it does hold them from what I believe is the first of 2 matchups this year, right? The Chiefs are likely going to have to play either the Baltimore Ravens or the Buffalo Bills the second time to get to the Super Bowl. So in either case, neither one of those teams will have seen Charles Omenihu, who might be the Chiefs' second or third best pass rusher on pure pass downs. And also, Pacheco has only played basically 6 quarters, I guess 7 quarters of football, because I think he got hurt in the 4th quarter against Cincinnati. But he should have relatively fresh legs if he's rehabbed well, and his knee and his, basically everything in the lower body, knee, obviously the fibula, which was broken, the ankle, if everything is structurally sound, then obviously he should be at his best when obviously, real football matters, which is running between the tackles, trying to break tackles in the open field when the other team knows you're running the football, when you pair him along with Kareem Hunt. So it's exciting, but I don't think we'll see either one of them in uniform on Sunday.
I've been asked a question, so I'll pass it along to you, Nate. Did you view the performance from Kareem Hunt this previous week as just maybe like, from the rushing attack? Is that just like the wall finally coming for a player who essentially had no training camp, or just Denver did a good job stopping him in the the run defense?
Yes.
A little both.
It is, yes. I think here's what I honestly believe, because what we saw the week before was Baltimore figuring out, if we just give the ball to Derrick Henry like a bunch of times, they literally can't stop him. And by the way, here's the more speedy option of Lamar Hunt. So I think to the question that's been passed from you to me, I think the true answer is yes. He finally hit the wall because he had the least amount of time to rest and get ready for this game. And that goes along with all the Chiefs, right? Their schedule is such a hodgepodge of nonsense when you look at it, because obviously they are the NFL's darling. They're going to be in every time zone this season except for the international one, because they did that last year. So think about this from Kareem Hunt's standpoint. No training camp. They've been giving you the load. Hey, man, our quarterback's ankles kind of jacked up. We're going to hand you the ball a ton in the second half. And, by the way, it's overtime. Guess what, my friend? You're getting the ball again. So for everything that Kareem Hunt has done, that game, and really you can start to, quote-unquote, rest your body at like midnight Tuesday morning, and all of a sudden you're playing Sunday at noon, and Denver's a good defense.
Yeah.
Despite them getting exposed by Baltimore last week, you could tell that they were like, okay, we're going to improve here. We're not going to let the Chiefs run the ball. We're going to make an emphasis on, trying to game tackle Kareem Hunt, which I thought they did a very good job with. And obviously we saw in the game, Kareem Hunt's like, man, this is tiring. And, I'm a little, I got a little nick, in my lower body because he came out of the game in the first quarter, came back into the game somewhere midway in the second quarter when things were getting even more chaotic because obviously you have the switch at left tackle. So, no, I think it's more to do with Kareem's body and just the burden they've put upon him with and by the way, I now understand why they did that, right? Because I was questioning too, like, man, you guys are giving Kareem a lot of carries. Well, Samaje's your third down back. So, okay, fine. You could give him the occasional carry, but the reason they've done that is because, man, it's hard being a rookie in this league. And Carson Steele's head was spinning on Sunday, kids. I cannot express that more plainly. Like, I think Vance Joseph put 2 rookies in absolute hell on Sunday, and that was Carson Steele and Kingsley Suamataia. Because even when Kingsley was like, hey, I'm getting chip help, what y'all doing? Like, what is the defensive line doing? Like, they're moving. They're like, okay, one time he's at the 5-tech, then he's at the wide. It's not a wide 9. It's like, damn, I haven't seen that in a while. And it's just, your head spinning. Now you got blitzes coming to the point I think, the Broncos got a little blitz happy in the second half. But, hey, it's understandable. It's a rookie left tackle, and Patrick Mahomes is screaming at Carson Steele in front of 70,000 people because he's like, hey, man, they're blitzing. So with everything that's gone on, now you get more understanding as to why Wanya Morris has been on the field and why Kareem Hunt has literally not come off the field unless he needs an absolute, hey, give me just one snap to get some Gatorade in me, and guess what? You're going right back out there.
We're talking to Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from The Athletic. Okay, you mentioned Wanya Morris. You mentioned Kingsley Suamataia there. We saw it played out. I mean, you and I were both there. It looked like walking to the limping to the locker room for Wanya. I didn't think he was coming back in that football game. Then he comes back out to start the second half. He's at least getting taped up or whatever, and ultimately comes back in the game later. He clearly is the best option at left tackle that they have. It makes it mind-boggling how Kingsley won the job, Nate, out of training camp. Like, how does that happen?
Okay, here's how it happens, kids. I think Wanya Morris is a human being who is a second-year player who realizes, hey, man, I just went through a 20-game season. I'm going to have to pace myself. I don't need to go balls to the walls. And look, I think the personnel staff, the front office, and the coaching staff were convinced that if we give Kingsley every opportunity, every rep possible in training camp and in the preseason, we will get him up to speed as fast as possible to be a starting left tackle. Now, I want to remind people this. If you walked into the locker room, the same locker room you and I walked into, Alex, you would look at both of these men and say, one of them is a left tackle and one of them isn't. And the one who looks like a left tackle is Kingsley Suamataia. You stand next to him and you're like, oh, yeah, that's a 10-year veteran left tackle who's going to be good, right? Just the look of it. So I think, this happens in scouting all the time. And I don't want to make this seem like Kingsley is a failure because he's not. But hey, man, Vance Joseph's defenses are not Oklahoma's defense, okay? Vance Joseph's, Lou Anarumo's defense is not Utah's defense. There's just so much of a difference between playing in a pass-happy college setting, which is good because it gives you plenty of pass, blocking reps, but it's not replicable at any measure when it comes to the NFL. And when teams understand that they can start to exploit certain things about you, well, guess what? They just ratchet that dial up even more, and all of a sudden, Travis Kelce in the middle of the game is telling Kingsley, hey, man, I'm trying to chip help for you, or hey, man, do you know what do you understand the play? Okay, well, he might line up differently than what we've seen on film because guess what? Hey, man, that's the NFL, baby. There's film study, and then there's even more things you have to adjust with on the fly based on personnel groupings, who's hurt, who's not. Are they blitzing? Are they not blitzing? What down and distance is it? Oh, my God, he won a pass rushing move this way, so should I overcompensate for that? Well, guess what, kids? Now he's running inside, and you got to wait for that too. Playing left tackle in the league is so hard because there's just so much space out there. I remember talking to Mitchell Schwartz about how he thinks he could have done it in his career, but thank God he didn't have to do it because, hey, I'm a really good right tackle. I don't have to do this. So if you look at both guys, the reason why this happened is you invested a second-round pick and the guy looks the part. And it's hard to get away from that from a scouting standpoint and even from a coaching standpoint. He's super duper smart. He made no mistakes in training camp that I can really see visibly. He was one of the best rookie players in the preseason, which, it's something. It's not everything, but it's something. He was a high-graded player in the preseason. And he actually played, I think, pretty well considering the circumstances against the Baltimore Ravens. And then for some reason, in the second quarter of that game against Cincinnati, the wheels literally snapped. His head was spinning. He lost a little bit of confidence, and he was overmatched physically. And I think that's why they took him out and put in Wanya Morris. Now, Wanya is a player who is suitable, but he's not. I don't think he's ever going to be an elite left tackle. He can be serviceable, which is all the Chiefs are asking of him. And now they're going to ask him to be serviceable while being hurt when everybody knows he's hurt. And he's dealt with this lower body injury really since training camp. I think that was another reason why there really wasn't a competition in training camp was because Wanya, true to form, was like, hey, I'm a normal human being. I'm going to pace myself. We got 20 games ahead of us. Sure, let the rookie get as many reps as he wants, because I know when the real games happen, I need to be prepared both physically and mentally. And there's a difference between training for the draft to get drafted as high as possible versus I know exactly what I need to work on. I know exactly how to schedule my training regimen. And even if I don't work out the same way that I thought I would in like August 7th in training camp, that's okay. I'm a professional. I know what I need to do to get ready for September 5th, right? The season opener. So with all that in mind, I mean, that's kind of how it happened.
Yeah.
And again, if you look at both players, one of those guys should be the left tackle of the Kansas City Chiefs for a decade. And both of those players know that. But for right now, you got to say, hey, Wanya, give us everything you got until literally the wheels fall off. And that may mean you have a higher risk of real injury because of the circumstances that they have to play you. They can't give you a week off, man. So get as much treatment as you can, as much rest as you can, and do the best to make sure that Patrick has a chance to pass the ball downfield, because what we saw against the Denver Broncos was Kingsley gave Patrick Mahomes a chance, a couple of chances to throw the ball deep. Patrick don't know when them chances are going to come, and that's got to be weighing on him mentally when you're not sure what you're going to get consistently from the guy who's supposed to be protecting your blind side.
So knowing where they are in that situation, which obviously pretty much anyone in the league would tell you, the tackle play, there's not enough good tackles. Similar to that as quarterbacks and where you are.
Yes.
Kingsley cannot play another snap at left tackle this year. This needs to be like a redshirt year, right? Are they, like Andy said, he wouldn't say no. He just kind of tossed to Veach. Are they going to call on someone like Donovan Smith? Are they going to ask around in the league? The trade deadline is gone. This man's either got to be on the street or not. But at this point, you can't risk if something happens to Wanya turning it back over.
So here's what I believe, okay? I'm not saying that this is fully reported because obviously the Chiefs don't want to, reveal their hand. And I think they're still evaluating things. But this is what I believe based on the information that I have as of right now, fellas. If Wanya Morris gets hurt Sunday against the Buffalo Bills or has a lingering injury that is really, basically compensating his ability to be successful, that is revealed against Buffalo or that is revealed next week against the Carolina Panthers, they will call Donovan Smith.
Okay.
So they're close. It's just they're not there yet.
They want to wait and see.
Yes, Donovan Smith is literally breaking case of emergency. And guess what, fellas? We getting close. So for Kingsley, what can we do? Here's what we can do. He really needs to evaluate himself. I think he's actually worked on his upper body strength from when we last saw him in Cincinnati to where we saw him, obviously, Sunday against Denver, which now means, hey, man, it's a whack-a-mole. Hey, we need you to improve your upper body strength because Trey Henderson literally just took your chest and moved it over here, and guess what? Now I have a sack on Patrick Mahomes. Well, he's actually worked a lot to improve that, right? So now the whack-a-mole is, hey, man, the timing and the feet, and that's why everybody criticizes Jawad Taylor. But you know what Jawad Taylor not going to do? I'm not going to lose with my feet, okay? You might beat me with some great, pass rushing moves. And you know what? These are freak athletes, so it happens. But what we not going to do, hey, I will give up 5 yards. What I'm not going to do is get Patrick killed because I didn't jump step quick enough or I didn't have the timing as perfect as I can to make it a little bit tricky for the referees, right? You can tell midway through the game, the Broncos are like, come on. And the refs are like, all right, I'll flag them once. And then Jawan's like, okay, the next 5 snaps, I'll be legal. And then as soon as those 5 snaps are over, guess what we doing, kids? I ain't losing with the feet. So now, based on the speed of Bonadino against Denver and basically him taking wide 9s, wide 10s in terms of where he was lining up, it's just like, hey, man, my feet are faster than yours. And that just can't be an issue. You at least have to be awash there so that all of a sudden your punch, your upper body, you can sort of wall the guy off so that he has to go around even further to get to the quarterback. Well, they made it really easy when it's just like, hey, man, I'm rushing from over here. I'm rushing from Clay County, and I'm going to be inside in 4 steps. And Kingsley's just like, are you freaking kidding me? And so the Chiefs are like, all right, man. Hey, Carson Steele. Hey, somebody Piron. You chip block him. And he's like, well, guess what, guys? Now I'm going to be running right through your rookie's chest. And so that the chip help can't even, like, help me. Or it's like, okay, Peyton Hendershot, can you try? And Peyton whiffed, kids. I mean, he whiffed
that's pretty bad.
so badly. And so they're like, all right, Travis, help the young man out. And it was just a carousel of trying to help this rookie out. So we're in the fourth quarter. Patrick just said, stop. Just stop. I'm a drop back, and you know what I'm going to do. Hey, let's get in creation mode. Let's scramble, baby, because I know who's my left tackle. And then all of a sudden they go to Wanya, and they say, hey, man, what if we gave you horse pills, taped you up, and you gutted it out there for another quarter? And he did it, okay?
Yeah, it was impressive from Wanya. He actually he deserves more credit than maybe what he's – I think people appreciate him more, of course, now than they did 3 weeks ago. Real quick, though, Nate, you mentioned break glass in case of emergency Donovan Smith. 100% with you, but I would argue, they can't afford, though, to be in an AFC title game and Wanya gets hurt and they didn't have the option behind him. Like I don't know if Donovan Smith's willing to come in and be a backup or not. I have no idea. But right. I'd be trying to bring in Donovan Smith to be my backup. Put him on the practice squad for a couple weeks and he can become the backup because I need him on game day, if maybe not in the regular season, but it's divisional round game. Hell, it's the Super Bowl. Wanya goes down. I can't have Kingsley out there for the second half of an AFC title game.
Unless you're playing the Detroit Lions who have no pass rush.
Okay. All right. Well, that's the Super Bowl at least.
Yeah, right.
Don't worry about that then,
Yeah, that's the one favorable Super Bowl matchup I've been watching. I'm like, well, they play the Lions. I mean, they don't really have anybody who you like are terrified of on the NFC side. But you're right. Again, this is the emergency after Buffalo? Is the emergency after Carolina? Hey, if we just get to a couple more weeks, Wanya, guess what, man? Our cap space is tight, baby, and we don't have to pay Donovan Smith for 11 weeks. We can pay him for 7, and in the postseason. So look, you're managing money, you're managing egos, you're trying to give young players more experience. There's a lot going on, but I mean, there's a reason. I'm sure you guys have mentioned this. Why Donovan Smith threw up and I love Roy Woods Jr., one of the best comedians in the game right now, who just throws up the shrug shoulders because he's just like, hey man. Basically, what Donovan Smith told everybody was like, "I'm ready." Like,
I was gonna say, have you heard? Is he? I don't know if you've talked to an agent or anything. Is he in shape? Football shape at all?
He's ready. Okay. Oh, boys, guys, he's ready. He's done the wise thing for him because he dealt with the neck, the stinger, the shoulder. That's the reason why Wanya played the last 5 or 6 games of the regular season last year was because, hey man, you're getting old and whether you're Jerick McKinnon or Donovan Smith, you're like, hey, man, call me when the games get real, which is essentially right now, kids. It's November. Guess what? We're back to real football, games that have stakes, where it's cold outside, when there's, when you need smart, competent players to limit your mistakes, right, to limit your exposure to your weaknesses versus trying to attack the other team's weaknesses. That's really what this comes down to. In the second half of the season, just minimize your mistakes, minimize your weaknesses. I think he's ready. It's going to obviously take him time to acclimate. So I love your point about bringing him on to the practice squad, which is why the practice squad got expanded for veterans to not feel like they had to be rushed onto the field given a circumstance, whatever the team was going through. So again, by Thanksgiving, if Donovan Smith's on the team, I'm not surprised. But the next time I think Chiefs fans should hope to see Kingsley Suamataia is either against the Denver Broncos in the regular season finale when the games won't matter and Carson Wentz is on the field, or maybe the week before because the Chiefs have already wrapped up the 1 seed. That's probably the next time you want to see Kingsley Suamataia, and that will actually help him because, hey, let's see if his footwork is better. Let's see if his, reacting to things in the middle of the game is better. There's one thing about a rookie, and I'll say this and get out of here, guys, but there's one thing to say, hey, rookie, be ready. You're 1 snap away. Hey, next man up mentality, be ready. Hey, man, going through it, okay, now I get it. Now I really get it because Patrick's screaming at everybody. The Denver Broncos are literally picking on me, and, oh, yeah, I really do need to be ready. It's one thing to be told something. It's another thing to experience it. So if it happens again, okay, let's experience you learning from that experience and getting better if Wanya goes down for a series or a quarter or a half. It's one thing to be told something. It's another thing to go through it. And so I don't want people to get down on Kingsley, but just know that, he's not the answer for this season, which means now you are in a developmental year, and he should know exactly what he needs to work on between now and the start of the 2025 season.
I hear you. I love it. But, look, Donovan Smith, you want to make about $600K, get another ring? Come on over. Practice for a few weeks, please. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, that was the plan. Like, okay, you guys want to start the young kids? Fine. I can just sit here on my couch, chill out, not get physically beat up. And then, hey, if you need me, I'm one call away. And guess what, guys? We're pretty much here. Yeah. And so I totally understand what you're saying, Alex.
I need to be like a horror movie. The call's coming from inside the house. I need to be that close.
There you go. Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from The Athletic. He joins us each and every Tuesday. Thanks to Mark Ferguson, attorneys at law right here in Kansas City, specializing in criminal defense, traffic law, DUI, DWI, personal injury in Kansas City since 1996. Yeah,
I don't want to risk it.
Is it bad for me to say that when Nate was talking about, hey, it depends what happens in Buffalo kind of thing?
What if that happens in week?
Well, I mean, in a weird way,
nothing changes.
I kind of if it's going to blow up this weekend, then fine. Blow up this weekend, and it forces him to bring it. That's what it takes. I am terrified, not of Wanya playing. I'm terrified that it's AFC title game, first half, Wanya gets rolled up on, and Kingsley's out there for 3 quarters in the biggest game of his life to get the team to another Super Bowl, and he can't handle the pass rush of Baltimore, let's just say again, or something like that.
Whoever it is, I'm terrified. Yes. That was one of the worst games I've ever seen. That shook me to my core for a minute.
Up next, let's get back to the Chiefs on a different note, talking more about what this offense might be doing test-wise the rest of the year. And you mentioned Bobby Witt Jr. and some of the award finalists during What's Trending. One thing stood out to me about what the future looks like for this division.
Cody Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
It is one of my favorite times of the year. The NBA is back, baby, and FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app, wants you to catch all the action because right now, FanDuel is giving all users, yes, every single user, 3 months free of NBA League Pass. All you need to do to catch every tip-off and every buzzer beater is place a $5 bet on the NBA. You can place this on LeBron having the most assists, Victor Wembanyama to win MVP, or who you think is going to win the NBA Cup. If you're new to FanDuel, all you need to do is visit FanDuel.com/CDOT. Use my promo code to get 3 months free of NBA League Pass, courtesy of FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. After 3 month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime. No refunds, terms and restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Hey, it's Bob Fesco, and I'm here with my friend Brian Manning of Manning Roofing. And Brian, if I have friends with insurance claims, why would I recommend them to you at Manning Roofing?
Well, Bob, we're a one-stop shop for all trades, roofs, windows, siding, and gutters. We have licensed and insured subcontractors and a dedicated project manager that'll be on site to deal with your insurance company and make sure we submit all the documentation needed.
So do what we did and set up your appointment today at ManningGC.com or give them a call at 816-448-8208. The choice is simple. It's Manning Roofing.
I'm McCall with Lisa Mitsuber, and our hotline is open. Annie from Kansas City, what's on your mind?
I want a dealership that I can trust for a lifetime. Is that you?
We're Google's highest review rated and only locally owned Subaru retailer in Kansas City. That's a good start.
I just want a great deal. That's all.
How about 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models? That'll get you a low monthly payment. Fall in love with driving again at Lisa Mitsubiru.
Google highest review rated Subaru retailer in Kansas City based on 2023 Google Analytics.
Hi, I'm Kim Myers, owner of Top Notch Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. We'd love to help with your plumbing emergencies, but the best way to ward off those expensive repairs is to schedule a $74 home plumbing inspection. We're still celebrating our 50th anniversary with top-notch deals like cleaning your dusty, moldy ducts for only $4.95. Think your furnace won't make it through the winter? Save thousands on a new Daikin system. Go to topnotchheatingandair.com for details. Thanks, and have a top-notch day.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at bluekc.com.
This Thanksgiving at Total Wine & More, find bourbons and cabernets that you adore.
With curbside pickup available and the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Shop early, save big all month long during Black Friday build-up at Lowe's. Right now, get select pre-lit artificial Christmas trees starting at just $59.98. Don't wait to save. Shop these deals today, in-store or online, because Lowe's knows deals. Discount taken at time of purchase while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their end-to-end solution helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all year round. Schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from your Indeed dashboard. Learn more by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
After you use Bounce Dryer Sheets and realize how fresh, soft, less wrinkled, and less staticky your laundry can be, you'll put a sheet on it every time. Like those socks that smell like they've been through a marathon. Put a sheet on it. Or that blanket that's got wrinkles on its wrinkles. Put a sheet on it. Maybe even your chatty coworker who keeps distracting you. Okay, Bounce Dryer Sheets can't do it all. But for fresher, softer, better laundry, put a sheet on it with Bounce.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie, and one thing I've learned is that you buy a house, but you make it a home. Because with every fix, update, and renovation, it becomes a little more your own. So you need all your jobs done well. For nearly 30 years, Angie has helped millions of homeowners hire skilled pros for the projects that matter. From plumbing to electrical, roof repair to deck upgrades. So leave it to the pros who will get your jobs done well. Hire high-quality certified pros at Angie.com.
If fashion is your thing, eBay is it. eBay's where I find all my favorites, from handbags to iconic streetwear, all authenticated. For real. This time, a little Supreme, some Gucci. I even have that vintage Prada on my watch list. That's why eBay's my go-to for all my go-tos. Yeah, eBay, the place for new, pre-loved, vintage, and rare fashion. eBay, things people love.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
It takes a lot to prepare for game day as a dedicated fan, and preparing the perfect tailgate meal might be most important of all. That's why Hellmann's Real Mayonnaise is the MVP. Hellmann's Mayonnaise is the secret to bring out the rich and creamy taste to all your game day dishes, from buffalo chicken dip to your favorite sub sandwich and everything in between. So give it a try, and mayo game day be delicious with Hellmann's Real Mayonnaise. Shop at your local Walmart, Kroger, or grocery store, and add some extra deliciousness to your game day dishes this football season.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here on Cody and Gold, thanks again to Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider, for joining us. He joins us every Tuesday. Of course, he's on the station throughout the week. If you missed any of the conversations with Nate, you can check it out on our website and also the Odyssey app. You guys can also just interact with us, as always, on the text line, 913-586-7965. We're streaming up on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, X. Make sure you subscribe, please. A little subscribe, a little click of the subscribe, a little like.
Trying to get to 3,000 followers over on YouTube. We're about 250
We would
short.
appreciate that. We would appreciate that.
We'd like to give another chance for the people who follow us over on Twitch or YouTube, a chance to join us for the fan club again. You know, we did that once. It's a fun time. You know, maybe we can do that again. We usually put that up in the garage sale as well, or your donations give you the chance to do that. So we'll see. I don't have anybody planned for this Friday yet. Maybe you could just follow, and I'll just choose someone who's got a free Friday afternoon.
Stop by. I won't be here on Friday, so maybe that makes you more likely to come in. Maybe it makes you less likely. I don't know.
It depends on the person.
It depends on the person. I will not be here on Friday. My sister's wedding weekend. I got to finalize the speech. I got to finalize the speech at this rehearsal.
Come on, give us a little taste. What do you got?
There's no.
All right, is there a joke?
Oh yeah, I got an opening and a close.
I think
do you feel good about the joke?
Yeah.
You better feel good.
You won't. You got it doesn't mean anything.
It wouldn't be funny to me.
Correct.
That doesn't matter. I'm not the intended audience.
It's a tie-in to something that happened as a kid or whatever. That
are you
people
gonna cry?
in the room. I don't think during the speech. No, it's rehearsal
during the
dinner.
wedding?
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean,
it's your twin sister,
Yeah.
dude. You guys share DNA. Lots of DNA.
But like, I don't know. Cry. I don't know. But I mean, I'll be honest. Like at most weddings, there's that moment where obviously, like I don't know about you. If I see other people crying, I'm likely to tear up.
No, my crying's related to just me.
So for example,
it's
like
directly related to my own emotional state.
Like you don't start to feel like you might have, like if you're at anybody's wedding, let alone it's like your sister's wedding. If you see them like in their groom getting emotional, like I'm more likely to be sitting there and also be like feeling like I'm about to tear up as well. Yeah.
Do you think you're going to have to field the questions from the Gold family that are like, all right, so the other two siblings are married, Alex?
No, that's part of the joke in the speech.
Are you up?
Oh, that's part of the joke in the speech.
Okay.
At the very, I don't want to spoil. I don't want one. At some point, it's not even a joke. At some point, a comment will be made during the speech saying, actually thanking my twin sister that I haven't been asked about it for over a year and a half.
Nice,
that's
because
part
of the engagement helps hold some of that water.
That's working there.
Lean into it. That's smart.
Yeah,
that's smart. That just feels like a thing a family would do. Alex, are you seeing a nice young lady? You got to see those relatives you haven't seen in a while, and you're like, no, not right now.
No, the wedding planning is I've been way off the hook here because they've been all focused in on what's going on with that for the last, I don't know, 16 months or however long it takes.
And now it's going to be like, when are they having kids? So you probably got another,
I agree.
You probably got another 2 years of runway.
Dude, that's absolutely the next focus for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
You're good.
So, yeah, I feel good about where things are going. All right, let's get back to the Chiefs offense for a little bit because the rest of the way, it's up and down in terms of defenses they face, but I think there's plenty of tests to find out, especially with Pacheco news and Amenahue news on the defensive side. We're going to have a better feel. They're going to go up against the number one defense in football in the Chargers at some point. They're going to go up against the second best defense at some point in the Steelers. They're going to go up against the fourth best defense again in the Broncos.
Who got the better of them, too.
And I know, as you pointed out, they're also facing the Panthers, who are the worst, and the Raiders, who are the second worst.
It's the weirdest, and I mean, I could go through every team. There's no way it lines up like this. They face 3 of the top 4 and 4 of the bottom 10, including 2 of the worst 3 in the league defensively. So either they're just going to score 20 points against everybody, and we're going to have really no idea, or what's more likely to happen is they're going to win a lot of games 20-17, and then they're going to score 35 against the Panthers and the Raiders, and you're going to be like, what the hell happened here? Well, what's going on? What's going on?
Or the
with
NFL's
the
weird, and it's the opposite. You watch. The NFL be the opposite. They'll somehow struggle to score against the Panthers or something in 2 weeks, and they'll actually put up 34 points this Sunday against the Bills. That would also be very Chiefs, very NFL.
I mean, it doesn't seem out of the question, at least on that end. But it's just like, I feel like it's going to be really hard to get a sense of the Chiefs because this is the order. Top 10 ranked defense this week in Buffalo. Worst defense in the league against the Panthers. 3rd worst defense in the league against the Raiders on a short week. Number 1 defense in the league. So they'll go from facing 2 of the worst 3 defenses in the league to facing the number 1 defense in the league, points per game wise, in the Chargers. Then they'll face one of the 10 worst in the Browns. Then they'll finish the season with the 2nd and the 4th best defense. Like, what the hell is going on in this schedule? It's like, there's one. There's a single mediocre team on defense. It's the Texans. They're 18th. That's perfectly fine. That's it. That's the whole system put into place. I'm fascinated because I'll be honest. I don't think the Chiefs' offense is as bad as it was in the middle of the season last year. But I'm not out here going to bang the table and tell you that they're great either. I'm not here to sow some seed that doesn't exist. They're fine. They're better than most offenses in the NFL, but they are not as good as 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different offenses in the league who are better at consistently performing on those ends. Can getting Juju Smith-Schuster and Kareem Hunt be enough to talk you into it? Maybe.
Or Hunt with Pacheco, yeah.
Hunt with Pacheco.
Hunt with Pacheco. That's what I'm curious to see.
Juju Smith-Schuster, can that talk you into it? Maybe. Maybe that swings your mood a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt. I also, as someone pointed out on the text line too, as they're going through these opponents, when we were talking about how big this game is on Sunday, it's not just about the short term, hey, you position yourself for the number 1 seed. But you were joking earlier, I think, somewhat about resting Travis Kelce against Carolina.
I'm serious about that.
The stretch of games where they do play in 4 and 17 or whatever it is, four games in 17 days or something, that stretch for you to not be impacted as much, obviously the solution is pretty simple. Find a way. Can you get to 10-0, 11-0, 12-0 to where if you do slip up, that's a rough stretch. Can you actually not have to feel the pressure as much in those games, and can you be a little more cautious in those games? Because that is for a few players that are a little bit older, even though it's a very young roster overall, that's a lot of games in a short period of time. Whereas if this team were to drop a few, then those games become like must win to keep the 1 seed. Whereas if you can rattle off, including against Buffalo, then it takes just stress off of a must win game against Pittsburgh, let's say on Christmas Day, assuming Pittsburgh is still winning at a high level.
Pittsburgh could lose this weekend.
I agree.
And then the Ravens could be 3 games back with no tiebreaker against the Chiefs. The Steelers could, right now, there's a chance this weekend the Chiefs could be at least 3 games clear of every team for the number 1 seed in the loss column and have the tiebreaker on 2 of them. It's a massive game. But what you pointed out about the end of the schedule, what stands out about that even more than the other is that, not just that they play those teams, which you're right, and play them in close succession, which you're also correct about. It's that those look to be difficult games. I don't know. Look, the Texans, I understand. Someone's going to be like, well, they kind of look a little fraudulent right now, which, I don't know, maybe a little, right? Not saying they look
they definitely don't look like the team that I think a lot of people thought, which was, hey, they're going to maybe an AFC title game. They don't look anywhere like that.
No, but we thought they'd be in the race to win the 1 seed.
But will I reserve the right to change my mind on that when they get Nico Collins back? I will.
Well, let's find out.
He was the NFL's leading wide receiver before he went down. I'm not going to just completely dismiss that. But the idea that Texans, a playoff team, right? They're going to be a playoff team. We all think they're going to win the division. So Texans, a division winner. The Steelers, a potential division winner, and the team who just gave you maybe the ugliest fight of the entire year in Denver. I mean, that. And look, think of the Browns before that. That's that 3-game stretch. That's kind of a brutal run.
That might be that game where, I guess, call it a trap game if you want to, but that's the one game I think that, because the Panthers, I think, obviously is one of, that could
Panthers, you can't get trapped by a team that stinks that bad.
The Browns, I think, if the defense turns up, you got Myles Garrett on the other side with the left tackle problem.
Yeah.
Who knows? I do think I don't know if you might hate me for this, I guess, in the text line as well, but maybe them not going undefeated, to your point, Gold, a little bit, actually is the best thing for them because it allows you to focus on getting them healthy, and maybe it allows you to just say, you know what, we're 13-0. You want to play everybody and you want to go undefeated. Or if you're 12-2 in week 15, you're like, you know what? We need to rest a couple guys because we have to make sure that they're ready to go.
Sure, I just don't want them to lose this one.
I don't know if it's like a blessing in disguise for them, but just looking at that, I don't know. That might be something that actually helps them come January.
Yeah,
exactly. 2 full weeks off.
Yeah, what I meant by that is if they have enough wins in their back pocket before that stretch enters, there's not the pressure of feel like you have to win all of those
to get the 2-week break.
To get the 2-week break. I'm not saying that it's a good because then typically I'm way against it's good to get the loss out of the way. Screw that. And I know that's not totally what you're saying, but that I disagree with. My thought was more of, hey, if they can beat Buffalo, they get to 10-0, beat the Panthers 11-0, then that stretch of games, hopefully in December, 4 games in 17 days or whatever, hopefully that stretch does not feel as high stress.
By the way, if you're curious who you're voting for, you're rooting for the Ravens to beat the Steelers this weekend. Get yourself 3 games clear of everyone. You already got the tiebreaker against the Ravens.
I'm also curious who you're voting for. Yeah.
It's too late. I already did that.
Too late. Anyway.
Who I'm voting for in the future?
Yeah.
I don't have any decisions made on
You haven't already looked into that? Okay. Just checking.
I do think as long if they have the 1 seed wrapped up and then you get into that 3-game stretch where, you know what, is it worth getting the undefeated season and having that? But
if they're undefeated, they're going to go for it. But if they lose one against the Browns, I don't care.
Because I
as long as
wonder,
the 1 seed's locked up.
Obviously, it's hindsight, and you don't know. But you think, okay, if it's undefeated, we're going to keep going. Is it worth it trying to chase that, or making sure that when we hit January 5th or January 12th or January 19th, and we're in the AFC title game, whatever it is, that we have everybody that we can fully healthy.
The Bills really are the only team competing for the 1 seed, right? You guys have looked at the Steelers' schedule, right?
No, I mean, the minute the Ravens lost again, I thought this was a 2-horse race. We discussed. That's why we haven't been mentioning the Steelers' name. None of they keep winning.
Team,
they keep winning.
Ravens, Bengals. They got to face the Browns twice, which they
still haven't played
them.
one division game yet.
Eagles, the Ravens again, the Chiefs, and Cincinnati. They got Cincy twice, the Browns twice.
They haven't
the
played
Ravens
a division game
twice. Yeah, what the hell is going on with their schedule?
Very weird.
I don't. That looks like a 13-win team, 12-win team. I don't.
At best, probably too. I mean,
we'll see, but I don't think it's getting any higher than that. At least not at the moment.
Because what are they now? 12 or 6-7-2?
6 or 7-2. They have their bye yet? Anybody know?
I don't know.
Who?
Steelers.
8 games. The Chiefs have played 9. No, or yes. Right? Wouldn't that be the answer? Wouldn't that?
Steelers have played 9. They're 7-2. Chiefs
7-2. Okay, not
which
6
is
and
9
2.
is the least amount you can play. So they have had it.
They have had it.
They both have 9. They both have played 9 games. The Bills have not had their bye week. That's the
they
team.
have it after they play
Correct.
Kansas City this weekend.
Random question.
Hopefully sad after they lose to the Chiefs.
Text line picked up on you, Drew, saying when talking about the Chiefs, they said we've converted you finally.
Oh my gosh.
My work here is done.
Hold on, right
they
above
lost
the
that
text
game last week, and he's like, good enough.
Finally.
Right above the text says, "Wow, f you, Drew." Okay, I'm playing. I'm right down the middle.
Really in a mixed bag. There's what you're getting. For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Over in the text line 913-586-7965. Again, if you want to participate, we check the chats on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook over at the Fan 965, where you can watch us on video. Question I have for you today is interest level. I'll just take a 1 out of 10, and you can just generally describe your interest level in today. I learned today that Target will begin in select stores offering what they're calling Targaritas, which is margaritas you can purchase and then drink while you shop at Target. So the question I have for you today is, what is your interest level in a Targarita as you go shopping? You know, we're all going to have like a Target or wherever as we go Christmas shopping for family and those things.
Yeah.
The question I have for you is, what is your interest level in those, being sold while you shop?
I could see, you're upset. You're going to be at the store for a long time. You're waiting on somebody, significant other, whatever. And you're like, just going to go grab a Targarita. How much are they charging for these? Do we know? No pricing
that
info.
article did not say.
No flavor info or anything like that. Look, I guess it's worth a shot during the holiday season. I don't know if this would be popular year round, but if for the holiday season, I could see there being somebody that's like, I'm not walking around and shopping. You got it. How long? You're going to take an hour and a half? And I have to come with you? Fine. I'll sit over here and have a drink.
Essentially already done this, right? They did those Hy-Vee market grills where essentially you grab a beer and take it out there.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, are you gonna walk into Target, grab a margarita?
It's made up, but I don't.
Is it a fake thing? Let's just assume it's real for the sake.
I like to assume it's
Let's assume it's real. Targaritas. Would you just walk into Target and grab a margarita and then put it in your cup holder and go shop with your kids? Are you going to do that?
If I were with the kids, I think the answer is no.
Okay.
If we drop the kids off at the in-laws' house to go do some Christmas shopping, and we were going to be doing it for like an hour and a half or 2 hours, yeah, okay.
It's like a one or a 2 on the scale of 10 for me.
I'll have a margarita while I'm shopping around. What's the difference between that or like going for a stroll? Like if you go for like sometimes if I take my kids for like a walk, they're going to ride their bike down like the path near our house. I'll take a beer with me sometimes. Take a cocktail with me and a cup sometimes.
Sometimes they said they shop with beer at Whole Foods because there's the Whole Foods that has the
taps.
The taps.
I'm not against it.
Hold on. Somebody said that at Nebraska Furniture Mart, you can do this currently?
Well, they've got restaurants inside of Nebraska.
Yeah, they have the
barbecue place.
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't know that you could just walk around with a beer.
That's right. Did you go there often?
I was there.
A new couch?
Not this past weekend.
Are you selling another one on Facebook Marketplace? Let us do that for you.
What are we trying to get at Nebraska Furniture Mart?
My wife and I were just looking around. That's all we were doing.
I mean, it is fun to just walk around Nebraska Furniture.
Jump on the couches a little bit, relax a little bit.
Jump on the couches.
Well, relax.
Someone says.
I will say, there's a beanbag. That's like a beanbag chair. Holy crap! That is the next couch I'm getting.
A beanbag chair? You're 27.
I know. I understand.
That's kids furniture.
Is it a true beanbag chair or one of those that are
like love sacks or whatever?
Yes, it is a queen bed inside of a beanbag. Essentially, it's very soft.
think you need a big place for that kind of thing.
Top floor.
Yeah, is that fitting in an apartment?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
It's probably about this.
I will say,
I don't know. I don't know how to describe it.
It's one thing to have to
It's big though.
It would make for an interesting interaction because it's like not that surprising, right? Like Gold, like I'm married, so like maybe I don't have to take an Uber. We can save the $30 if I go to a bar and I'm like, I should not drive home. Hey, can you give me a lift? Right? I got kids, a little bit more of a challenge, but certainly my wife has picked me up from the bar after I've had too many beers and I shouldn't drive home. Having to pick up like your wife or your cousin from Target because while they were walking around looking at candles, they got loaded. Like, oh no, that is an embarrassing pickup. That sets up for an embarrassing pickup.
Again, it sounds like this might not be actually happening at Target, but again, we're playing along and saying it is. You know, I feel bad for those that are working at Target. Now they got to deal with a couple of drunk a-holes. Already customers can be jerks during the holiday season. Everybody's stressed out or whatever, and they take it out on these poor employees. It's awful. I used to work Best Buy retail in high school. You get somebody's in a terrible mood, is a jerk. Now you're going to give them alcohol inside the store? Oh, this seems like a terrible idea. The more I think about it.
Somebody said they're 35 and they sit in their beanbag chair while they play the PlayStation.
There you go. There you go.
Sounds like you're setting up your basement like Vinny's. Just for his own personal comfort, with no frills. Not even a coffee table in his basement, he said. So where do you put your drink? On the floor. Like, you don't have to live like this.
Correct.
Get an end table.
Not do that. I would not set the drink on the floor, I don't think. But yeah, no, I know. I'm just sitting on the... Look, if you guys go to Nebraska
Are you going to put the beanbag in your living room, just in the corner, so you'll have the couch, and then you'll just have this beanbag?
100%. You can chill and relax in that beanbag chair and be... It's got good support. You feel good sitting in it. It's relaxing.
Does it fit one person, or can you have two people on the beanbag? Can you and your wife both, snuggle up in the beanbag?
They have different sizes of beanbags. You can have two people on there, maybe more.
Whoa. Easy.
Who needs three? Unless you have kids, what do you need? Three people on the same beanbag?
Yeah.
That's a cuddle situation. I'm looking to toss a third into there. That's a whole different thing. Someone from the 816 says, I got drunk and spent $7,000 at Nebraska Furniture.
That's an easy dollar amount to spend there. My goodness. I mean,
Just
that place
one real
is great.
nice sectional.
That place is great.
That's where I got my very first ever, like my first apartment by myself.
Yeah.
Where like I bought the living room
That's where
furniture.
most of my furniture is from. My couch, my bed set, my dresser, my nightstand. It's
got it
all
from
from
the
there.
clearance section.
There you go.
It was 2 chairs, one with an ottoman and a couch.
Beautiful.
Solid. Worked out great.
No, it's fun to walk around.
I feel like this would make Target shopping more fun, though. Like it would be more enjoyable. Like I don't know. Imagining Black Friday, though. I don't know how chaotic it gets in certain places.
Not as bad as it used to be.
Growing
because
up, yes,
online,
it was. Can you imagine the way that it was?
Oh,
10,
I know.
10 years
It's
ago.
like people
If you
fist
were
fighting for a TV, dude.
Correct, but if you were drunk, that would be a problem.
Some guy's got 4 Jack and Cokes ready to take you out on Black Friday.
Yeah, that would be insane.
Yep. Oh, I've definitely lined up way back in the day outside of a retail store at 3 a.m. or whatever when that was a thing.
From the 785, you guys are too good to sit your drinks on the floor.
No, I bought a nightstand.
really hit you different. We've changed.
I bought a nightstand from Five Below for $2, and it sits next to us. That's what I set my drink on.
Just get like $5, man. That thing's got to be flimsy as hell.
Can you put more than one drink on it?
$2?
Yeah. $2 from Five Below.
Plastic?
Dude, you ought to get on Facebook Marketplace. You could find like a wood side table for $15.
I don't trust Facebook Marketplace.
Well, again, it's a pretty simple rule. If you're the one selling, you should never have to send the person the money.
That's true. If you're buying it, though, bringing them the money is no big deal.
My thought process is I'm going to just avoid it completely because of what happened. It's almost like an embarrassing thing. If I see it on Facebook Marketplace, I don't want anything to do with it.
All right. Up next, we'll get to the 1 o'clock hour. Let's get back into the stadium conversation. Fesco had some new information on what he's hearing about where the Royals and Chiefs could play. We'll give our reaction to that next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Your attention is precious. Pulled in a million directions for a million different reasons. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City works hard to make sure your health insurance isn't one of the many things distracting you from what's important. By making healthcare easier to navigate, we help keep your focus on the moments that matter most. Like dinner with loved ones. Letting you focus on you. That's the benefit of Blue. Learn more at BlueKC.com.
Finding an attorney can be an overwhelming process. Fortunately, since 1996, Mark Ferguson has helped thousands of Kansas Cityans during their time of need. Whether you're facing a traffic violation or a more serious crime, Mark and his team of seasoned, compassionate professionals are here to fight for you in all of your legal matters. Mark has built his career on integrity, knowledge, and an incredible reputation. Call Mark Ferguson at 816-203-2263. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
We're hiring residential garage door installers at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Join the team trusted here since 1927. Apply today, get a call today. No experience necessary. Paid training for motivated applicants to install garage doors. Hiring bonus up to $2,500. Mechanical, carpentry, or service industry experience is a plus. Good benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Earn as you learn to service the best garage door customers in KC. Apply today at overheaddoorkc.com.
Hey, it's Cody and Gold, and for those of you who've been listening to the show for a while, you know all about our friends over at Centric and how you can find a brand new career in as little as 4 months. But did you also know that you can work with your current schedule with some of their flex options for learning online or in person?
Maybe you're just getting out of high school and want to start that career now and that career path now, or you're looking for that change with better advancement, better pay. Centric can do those things for you.
They have plenty of funding options like the GI Bill. You just got to go talk to our friend Russ at Centric.com. That's CENTRIQ.com.
The NBA is back, and FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, wants you to catch all the action. Right now, FanDuel is giving all users 3 months of NBA League Pass. All you have to do to catch every tip-off and buzzer beater is place any $5 bet on the NBA. And who isn't excited to watch the Lakers this year with LeBron and Bronny playing together? If you're new to FanDuel, just visit FanDuel.com/610Bob to get 3 months of NBA League Pass courtesy of FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA and of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. After 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel anytime. No refunds. Terms, restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
It's Thirsty Thursday at Hy-Vee. Time to stock up the bar and fill up your tank. Earn 50 cents per gallon fuel savings on every $50 purchase of wine, beer, hard seltzer, and spirits. Mix and match all your favorite libations and get a 50-cent fuel saver with every $50 purchase. Stack up the savings and your next fill-up could be free. Don't miss Thirsty Thursday at your Kansas City, Missouri Hy-Vee. Product promotion differs by location. Offers valid where legal, available while supplies last.
I can't wait to watch the Chiefs go up and down the field and score a ton of points this year. And now I have even more reason to cheer on the Chiefs. I just head to Hy-Vee the day after any game and score savings at the pump with my Hy-Vee Perks card. Win or lose, I earn fuel saver discounts equal to the Chiefs score based on the amount I spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, I save 42 cents a gallon when I spend $42. The more we score, the more I save, only at Hy-Vee. Offer good in-store and online. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Truck drivers, don't wait until 2025 to find a more reliable career. At Schneider, you'll enjoy reliable freight, a consistent schedule, the home time you want, and top quality driver support. No matter what kind of driving job or home time you're looking for, we have an opportunity for you. Plus, by driving for one of America's busiest carriers, you'll stay busy throughout the holiday season and into the new year. Don't wait. Search jobs near you and apply now at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What if you could hear your favorite song for the first time again? Introducing the all-new, reimagined Nissan Kicks. With an available Bose Personal Plus sound system that uses speakers in the headrest to create a 360-degree listening experience. you've never heard anything like this. Reimagine your music and your drive. Experience the all-new reimagined Nissan Kicks for yourself at nissanusa.com today.
Available feature. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles?
Comment tu t'appelles? Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
when you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. Just go to babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on Kansas City's FM sports station. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour here on a Tuesday. Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you guys. We'll get to all 32. We're on the NFL coming up in just a little bit. But there was some news, some rumblings this morning from Fesco and Dusty. They were talking about the stadium front. It's been quiet for a while on where the Chiefs and Royals could be. We know Clark Hunt had mentioned a few weeks ago that it looks more like spring for the Chiefs to make a decision. The Royals, it makes sense that now maybe there could start to be some noise because the games are over. I mean, it's the offseason. It's time to focus back in.
Time to find your palace.
Here's what Bob had to say and what he's hearing on future stadium sites for the Royals and Chiefs.
Yeah, there's a lot going on right now, and I think from what the conversations I was having with a lot of people yesterday, this thing is going to move fast and it's going to move quickly, and we're going to know maybe by the winter meetings where the Royals are breaking ground on their new stadium. And I talked to multiple sources on this now, so I have it confirmed from two different folks about what's going on right now in Kansas City, if you will, and I use the air quotes Kansas City on this one because from what I've been told, the Royals are in real and advanced discussions with the state of Kansas to potentially build their new stadium in Johnson County.
Now, where would that location be?
Well, there are a couple locations that I'm hearing right now. There's a location right inside the 435 loop around Antioch is what I've been told is one location. And then the location that I think a lot of people are very fond of is 119th and Knoll on the old Sprint campus. And there, they already have 5 parking garages that exist.
So that's the latest on what Bob is hearing from some of his sources in regards to the stadium conversation. For starters, the timeline for the Royals being sooner, as we said, makes more sense. Now, he said winter meetings if you're just wanting the exact date of the winter meetings,
About a
roughly.
month.
December 9th through the 12th is when the winter meetings take place. So if that's actually the timeline that they hold to, that's within a month. Yeah, it's within a month that you could perhaps know where the Royals are trying to go. It was not that long ago where I think the mayor last week was on with Carrington, Mayor Quentin Lucas, that would be, of Kansas City, Missouri, suggesting that they obviously still felt pretty good about their chances to have the Royals stay in downtown Kansas City or in Kansas City, Missouri. Obviously, no matter what side of the state line, what jurisdiction you're in, you have every reason, publicly at the very least, to say you're confident and to believe that it's that way until something changes and you know you definitively are not in the mix for it. So I don't think anybody's trying to say they know 100% what's going to happen. But that is what Bob is hearing, those two sites in Johnson County. I'll admit, I'm kind of fascinated by it because the 119th and Knoll, that's prime spot in Overland Park in Johnson County.
Very busy intersection.
Right by Town Center. Yes, it's the old Sprint campus. There's still some businesses there. There's also a lot of land there. You still have community center. The J is right next to it as well. There's some other development that's being built right around there on that same area. Yes, there's parking garages. There used to be 14 of them. I think there's 5 of them now. Each one has around 1,000 parking spots from what we could check when we did a quick little research on this before the show. traffic wise, and normally we always poke fun a little bit on like, hey, they'll figure out the parking, and I don't doubt no matter where they go, they'll figure out the parking. I do think traffic wise, that seems like a complete disaster. 119th and Null. Given that area, anybody that lives in Overland Park that either
so
works
already 72 stoplights getting through that
works
intersection.
there, lives near there, has driven there. I mean, you're not far from 119th and Metcalf. That area usually during rush hour is a disaster to begin with. I just can't imagine a baseball game at the same time. That's what's stunning. I'm not stunned about Johnson County. That's been brought up before. It does make some sense. The 435 in Antioch, inside the loop, that's where the old country club was or is.
Brookridge or whatever
That's
it is.
where I believe that's the plot of land we're talking about.
It is. And they've been, and that could be the same thing where, like, developer wants his useless land sold to somebody who will use it, which does make sense. But I thought that once on the Star building. I was like, they're not going to really look at this site. That guy just wants to get rid of this empty glass building. And they chose that site. So I don't want to completely rule that out. Here's my hope, is that typically right around the time Kansas gets brought up again, so right around the time the Royals also announce some sort of competing possibility on the Missouri side. And so if they are seriously considering Johnson County, which I do not think is off the table for the Royals, certainly not off of for the Chiefs and Wyandotte and those, is that this is coming from them trying to figure out how they're going to get the Royals in Kansas City without a vote. Because that's truthfully what I think it is.
Well, they're terrified of it possibly to have another vote, I would think, after the results of the last go. We don't have to revisit why all the reasons were.
They didn't just lose. They got their ass kicked a little bit. And when you get your ass kicked a little bit in a vote, you're probably not real quick to want to turn it back over to the people of Kansas City to be like, but this time it's different. I told you I thought that there were several issues with their plan, including some of the stuff that was they weren't detailed enough in what they were offering on the Royals' end, and I thought the Chiefs hurt them. Of all things, the Chiefs hurt them. And part of their plan, because nobody seemingly was in love with the renovations that they were planning on doing with their portion of the tax revenue. This isn't anything against, this isn't like you and I are neither like this. I'm not anti-Kansas just because I've lived in Missouri a huge chunk of my life. You're not anti-Missouri. Fundamentally, I'm not upset at the idea that one of the teams would be in Kansas or that one of these teams would be in Missouri. You said, I've been going to the team this entire time. They've been
my
in
whole
Missouri.
life, I've gone to Royals and Chiefs games in Missouri.
Hate the idea of baseball in the suburbs. I do not want the Royals at 119th and all. Not for just the practicality reasons, because I want baseball in an urban center where I think baseball is at its best. That's what I want. I want it in downtown or near downtown or as close to downtown as you can get me. And I'll be honest, 435 in Antioch or 119th or no is the opposite of putting a baseball team downtown.
So I also prefer downtown baseball. I think for the 2+ years we've been talking about this, you and I have made that very clear. I think downtown baseball, having gone to it in other markets, whether we're at St. Louis, whether it's the Rockies Stadium in Denver, you pick. Okay, there's plenty of downtown baseball stadiums. I love it. I think it's an unbelievable setup that you can have. With that said, if they were to go out to the suburbs, I'll be honest, why not just go out to the Legends? My follow-up to that, my own follow-up to myself there.
Then you can build whatever you want.
My own follow-up would be, does that mean that the Chiefs are already going out there? That's the only thing I can think of. Because otherwise, I'm confused why you... Now, I understand a lot of the season ticket holder base for the Chiefs is on the Kansas side. For the Royals, there's a lot of fans obviously on the Kansas side as well. I just think it's interesting. That area, if they were to go to Johnson County, it's established. That's the benefit. It's established, and I understand it sounds like they're excited about the parking garages, which is great. Like, I guess that's a cherry on top. I don't think that's why they ultimately would pick the 119th and Null site. It's because there's 5 parking garages there. They might be excited about that. That's not ultimately why they're picking a site. It's because of a parking garage.
You shouldn't be excited about it. Like, I understand. Like, it'd be like, well, you done. Like, that should be a it doesn't hurt situation. Gold, the equivalency to me for that is like a team choosing an entire stadium site, plan, and all that stuff because they have a few concrete rectangles already built there is the same as you choosing a future wife based on the fact that her dad has Royals season tickets. Don't choose it based off of that. If he has them, cool. Great, man. You got to use his seats sometimes. Pretty neat. But don't choose the girl based on the idea that you might get some free tickets to the game. That's not worth it. That's not worth making your entire decisions on. That's all.
Yeah, it's interesting. Anytime we get these updates, and And obviously, Bob's been very well connected throughout the whole stadium conversation. I just was stunned to hear 119th and Null. I don't know how.
And you live not terribly, terribly far from that area. So, you're familiar. But
location-wise, there's part of me that's like, wow, that's not far at all. But we've had a lot of text on this too. Like, that area is a crowded mess already. And so I just don't know how they make that work. Not to mention, I don't know the exact acreage or whatever by any means of the plot of land there. We already know there's still businesses at the old Sprint campus, what is now the T-Mobile campus. There's obviously a developer building something else on part of that land already. There's also the J that is there that just went through a bunch of renovations as well. I don't know if that would back right up with the stadium. Is that realistic? Would they have to try to get them out of there? I don't know. There's a lot of options there that make that location kind of interesting. But if you're asking me, like, do I think that's where they end up, I would be stunned. That's all I'm saying.
I just don't. But also, I will say, the one thing that has really surprised me the most on, we could make another comparison, but, like, the thing that surprised me the most about the Royals is they fought so hard for this, like, they had this dream. They had this dream of exactly the project was going to be and exactly how they wanted it to look. And they mentioned the battery and they took all these things. And the quickest thing they're willing to give up on is the buildings around it. They're like, you know what? Just kidding. We didn't want any of our own retail. Screw all of that. We'll just take the stadium, please.
Yeah, because the town center's already there.
Yeah, they abandoned that part of the plan like weirdly quick.
Yeah, and I
thought that was all part of like what they wanted to do.
Now, I don't know if this site would prevent them from building a hotel or condos or anything
but not
there.
Nearly the scale that they were originally talking.
I don't think so. You and I obviously haven't seen, nobody's seen what a potential plan would look like if there's even a plan other than discussions about the site. It's just really interesting to think about. I think there's also the reality we have to always keep in mind, whether we're talking about a Missouri site, a Kansas site, a downtown site, a Clay County site, whatever. Anytime stuff like this is put out there and someone's willing to speak to anybody, I don't care whether it's to Fesco or to the Star or whatever, I always am skeptical on not the reporting. I'm skeptical on why is that person wanting to make sure it gets out there. The person giving the information to said reporter or host. That's all I'm saying. It's not about the reporter or host. It is that, all right, is this, hey, things aren't going well talking to the city of Kansas City, Missouri, and this is a leverage play? I'm always skeptical on that. Like, same thing when news comes out on the Missouri side about a location they love, and, okay,
if Frank has an opinion, there's a reason why, or Mania Barker, or a million other people.
Is there leverage being used against Kansas when news comes out about the Chiefs of Missouri? Like, all that applies. I mean, politics is obviously all over this whole stadium conversation.
Yes, and it reeks of the people who want the different things to occur. Look, it wouldn't be hard for me to go out this door, make a few phone calls, and find somebody who represents the Northland area where I live, right? Who'd be like, you know what? It's a perfect fit. And there's a lot of people who I talk to who also think the Northland is a perfect fit. Or to find somebody who thinks South Kansas City or downtown. Yeah, dude. I borderline could find someone tomorrow who'd be like, we think this spot right on top of Cody's house. His would essentially be, pretty much be the pitching rubber.
See, this is what someone said, you're saying Sprint campus is too busy, but you wanted it downtown. Yeah, I mean, look at the way downtown is set up.
Downtowns are scheduled to have that many cars. That's how downtowns work.
It's about a suburb of just in Overland Park in a residential area with some retail around it.
This is like an urban planning thing, so this is probably the nerdiest conversation we've ever had in this air. Downtown areas in cities are built and designed around the idea of increased traffic. The whole problem, one of the biggest problems with the North Kansas City site, downtown North Kansas City site,
one bridge to get
was
there,
because there's only one entry into the area. There aren't that many entries into 119th and Null. You might drive down that road and you're like, but it's 3 cars wide, both sides. There's only 2 ways in. And when you talk about a downtown, I can get downtown. I can come off 635. I can come off of 70. I can come off of 435. I can come up off of 9. I can come through the city street. I can come into downtown 40 different ways. I can only get to 119th and all 4 ways.
And then, like you said, there's enough parking down there where you might have to walk a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But you can park anywhere, and it's fine. And there's the garages and all that other stuff.
So we'll see. I mean, like, this is not the first, won't be the last time we hear a site mentioned or anything like that. It's the first time we've heard anything in a while. Again, I think Bob talked in more detail about it on their show. If you want to check out Fesco Dusty, the podcast there, but we just wanted to talk a little bit about that. Very interesting. That's a brand new site that had not been discussed for quite some time. I think most people would have thought if we would have mentioned Johnson County, you would have thought, oh, you must be like 159th and way south. And this is right, like in the heart of Overland Parkish.
Yeah, I'm just ready. I just want to know their plan. Like, I am almost at the point with stadium. Like, just tell me your plan. Okay, just tell me what the games are going to be.
I think a lot of people are there.
Tell me where the stadium's going to be. That's the point I'm at. You know what? I'm done guessing. Just tell me where it's going to be.
All right, let's get to all 32. I think we already know the 6 NFL jobs that are opening. Don't we already know the 6? We know 2 for sure, 100%. I think we know like 95% the other 4. The 2 we know 100% are because, the coaches already got fired. Saints and Jets, we already know definitively those are open. I think we know the Jags is going to open up. I think we know the Giants job is going to open up. I think we know the Cowboys job is going to open up. And I think we know the Chicago Bears job is going to open up. That's 6 jobs. There's usually a surprise as well, so maybe a 7th. But I think those are the 6 jobs that are going to be open at the end of the season. Out of that group, I think the Giants is actually the best job. And it's not close. Maybe the Jags after that. The Giants would be the best opening out of that grouping. They have what right now would be the number 1 overall pick in the NFL draft. They have a very, very talented rookie wide receiver, will be on his 2nd year next year, Malik Neighbors. They have a great defensive front. Looks like they got a young running back in Tracy. That division still doesn't look like it's a gauntlet. Yeah, the Commanders are on the rise, but doesn't look like it's a gauntlet. I think the Giants would be the best of those 6. After that, I would still be the Jags because of the division.
Yeah, I think the Jags job is
I get to pick my quarterback in New York. I get the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
To move on from Daniel Jones.
Sure, but I think if you're the Jags, you'd be like, am I going to do better than Trevor Lawrence? And I'll just tell you, even though we're way down on him, and I think you should be, I've never been all as high on them as the rest of the league has been, there'll be a lot of NFL coaches be like, nah, I can win with Trevor Lawrence. Doug Peterson's just screwing it up. Versus the risk of taking a rookie quarterback and not really sure. I think you're probably right. I mean, if those are the jobs that are opening, it's maybe the Bears, though. Come on. There's got to be some 1-year Caleb Williams, and they don't think they can make him work. I'd rather have him than Trevor Lawrence, and I'd rather have him than unknown named 1st overall quarterback, which I can't, I guess, be guaranteed at. When you're taking a job, you'd know, but at least changes that. The thing that stood out to me is, like, so every offseason we go through this, and the Chiefs have made a lot of, they buy in the bargain bin, right? Mike Edwards, some guys who've really helped them win championships, even if it's in a minor capacity. There was not a single bigger signing for any NFL team, including quarterbacks, that went to other teams than Saquon Barkley. I don't know if it's just because he's the single best fit for what they needed at that time. He completely and fundamentally changed the way they were playing offense the year before when they really struggled as a team. And I went into this year not a big believer in the Eagles because I didn't know what to expect out of them. The second Saquon Barkley got in their offense, they were a completely different team. They're one of the best teams in the NFC by, for sure, without question. I don't think anyone got a better signing this offseason than Saquon.
Oh, he's been unbelievable for them. The thing with the Saquon signing, though, when the Giants decided not to pay him, it wasn't because they thought he was going to stink this year. They didn't want to pay him the money because they're worried he can't make it through this year and then ultimately next year. So I hear you. He's been incredible. Clearly the right thing for the Eagles. But like people have made it seem like the Giants chose not to sign Barkley because they don't think he's any good. That's never what it's about. It's that they're worried that he won't make it through this year and then next year he'll also be hurt. So that's what we're not going to really know for sure, in my opinion.
Boy, this offseason.
It was great for the Eagles, but like the Giants with Saquon Barkley, how much better would they? Like, I actually don't think it was a mistake to move on from Barkley either.
Yeah.
Their mistake was paying Daniel Jones, who they hopefully can get rid of after this year.
Could have paid Saquon Barkley if they hadn't paid Daniel Jones.
I know, but that with Drew Lock as their quarterback this year, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think that's doing anything.
That's a good point. I'm going to say in the NFC East. This is almost an NFC East all 32. So
we didn't mean to.
So we had. I know we did not. Jerry Jones. Talked about him, obviously. They got such a bad culture problem. Micah Parsons is talking on his podcast. He's being open and honest about everything. He said, quote, after the loss, regarding whether he would, or whether Mike McCarthy would be the head coach. He said, quote, that's above my pay grade. All coaching aside, Mike can leave and go where he wants. Guys to feel bad for is like Zach Martin and guys who might be on their last year on their way out because that's who I want to hold the trophy for. You want to win games and do great things for those guys who put more time in and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. So those are the kind of guys I have so much sympathy and hurt for. Like, dang. He's still the head coach, technically, at the end of the day. It's a complete dumpster fire in Dallas.
Micah Parsons is a straight-up bad teammate.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think a lot of people want to hear that because he's a legitimately great player. He is a terrible teammate. When things go bad, he is the last man you want on your side. Can I give you guys a bonus all 32? It came from today. We planned these a little bit in advance. No.
Okay.
No, it's actually from your division, Drew, the AFC North. My favorite quote from a coach all year, because very rarely do we see coaches get in their car, get in the driver's seat, and run over with their vehicle a former player. Mike Tomlin today was asked. He's getting ready to face the Ravens. His former player, Deontay Johnson, is on the Ravens. He got asked, what do you think about facing Deontay Johnson this upcoming week? To which he said, quote, to be honest with you, I haven't thought a lot about him. He's not on a lot of their video. So at this stage of the week, I don't know that I've weighed much on the matchup. They've got more significant pieces with much larger roles that occupy my attention at this part of the week. Damn, dude. The hell Deontay Johnson do to you?
Remember, he got traded for essentially nothing.
He was whining, man.
Yeah, they did not like the relationship was not good, clearly.
He was complaining about
they got
targets
way
and all
better
that.
players. I don't even care about this guy. That's essentially like that's the Mad Men line when he's like Pete Campbell's yelling at him, Don Draper in the elevator. He's like, I don't think about you at all. Like that's essentially what Mike Tomlin just did to Deontay Johnson.
is a bigger threat than you to the offense or to the defense.
Mike Tomlin tells it like it is. He also had comments over the weekend when someone was asked about Jaden Daniels, and they're like, "Oh, does he? He's similar to Lamar Jackson?" And he was very quick to shut that down, and was like, "If they're playing Baltimore after just playing the Commanders," and he's like, "No, he's like, no disrespect to Jaden, but like Lamar's a two-time MVP. Mr. Jackson, I think, is how you said. Mr. Jackson's a two-time MVP award.
He reminds you of Lamar.
Let's be careful before we start calling Jaden Daniels Lamar Jackson." Essentially, what Mike Tomlin said.
Yeah, I'd pump the brakes on that.
That's the thing. I like Mike Tomlin. I also hate him in the same breath because the main coach the man is the best coach, is one of the best coaches in the NFL. He's right there with Andy.
What's not to like him?
It's because he's a Cincinnati guy.
It's the AFC North thing. It's a respectful hate.
Sure.
Yeah, which I think is a good. I mean, I think that's healthy.
I texted my brother. I told you last night because this is what happened with him, right? With the Chiefs. It's
Still
like
coping.
Yeah, well, no, it's not just the like he grew up. My dad was a Denver Broncos fan since he was like a small child. As a result of that, my brother became one because his dad was. Makes sense. A lot of happened all the time. I sent that text. I sent him a text. I waited like all day, and I was just like, "Hey man, was that the worst one for you ever?" And he's like, "I can't even think of a second." He just said he's and then the text he'd sent me at the end was he's like. And he's like, I had a few too many drinks. And then he said, I hate them way more than I ever hated the Patriots. Effing hate them. And then he said, and honestly, it's not the players. Like, they're awesome. Great for the city. Good role models. Carter, his son, loves them. He's like, I just can't actually root for them in any situation ever again.
That's what happens after the blocks.
I get it, man. It's tough living. It's tough to be anti-Chief in this.
There are worse ways to lose, but
that's pretty bad, man. That's
consensus
high
from other people. Like just looking at the comments of Broncos, you go and you search for some of the comments. I would have rather lost by 20. I'd rather lost by 30 than the way that we just lost. That's what they were saying.
Anybody else? Justin Reid put out a call on Twitter and said, "Hey, will you guys send me the sad Broncos?"
Oh yeah,
I saw that.
Somebody in the quote tweets, which I watched, put together a 16-minute compilation of people on YouTube watching it. I mean, do yourself a favor, man. It's so funny.
It's all different TikTokers that were live streaming and watching all the NFL games. That some Broncos fans, some just normal Twitch streamers as well. We played the audio, of course, yesterday of the Broncos fan streaming. So it was very good. And it sounded like Justin Reid was enjoying watching some of those too. Just the raw reaction.
16 minutes, goodness.
The raw reaction from just NFL fans thinking they finally had the Chiefs. The joy, the excitement when they thought that Will Lutz was just going to kick a chip shot and the Chiefs were going to finally lose. And then the disbelief. Oh, that's my favorite. There was a Commanders fan that was wearing Commanders hoodie as well. And he was all excited and giddy.
You retweeted that one.
All giddy that the Chiefs were about to lose. And then he was just in complete silence
he just
after.
Froze.
It was awesome.
Someone said I got my Mad Men reference wrong. It's not Pete Campbell in the elevator. It's Ginsburg. I'm sorry. Have you ever watched Mad Men?
I watched 5 seasons, and for whatever reason, I never finished it.
What?
I know.
How could you get 5 seasons into a show and then just
How many seasons were there?
I don't know. What is there? Whatever the final, I watched up to the final 2 seasons. Whatever the.
Oh, I feel like if you're past halfway, you're in.
I know, but that was a while ago. I haven't watched Mad Men probably in 6 years.
I'll
Cody.
just say this right now.
I never watched. I already know that at some point they mentioned Wichita. At some point, I know all this, but I didn't watch the end.
We reference all the time on the show, right? We talk about a Game of Thrones ended disappointing. Mad Men doesn't at all.
Lives up to it? Okay.
Finishes
Maybe
strong.
I'll have to go back. Promise now I feel like I have to go back and rewatch the whole darn thing.
I mean, as long as you remember something, you might just need to go through the recap.
Drew, I don't think I've watched Mad Men since 2015.
Okay, that's almost 10 years. Yeah, you might.
You're going to have to start from the beginning.
2016.
You're back to episode 1.
It's been a while.
As soon as the NFL season ends,
Maybe
you
so.
can start that, and I guess I'll
and you start The Sopranos finally. How about that? I'll go back and rewatch Mad Men if you'll finally.
I got 3-4 extra seasons to watch of that, don't I?
Get going early.
Is that an hour-long show or half hour?
Hour.
An hour straight, too. That's HBO. That's not our network. That's true hour.
Yeah. All right, up next.
It's going to be 4 years to watch
We'll get to what's trending. Plus, earlier today, our VNFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino, joined us. We asked him about the trade market moving forward and some of the impact that's already had in the NFL. Plus, what does he make of the way the Chiefs won?
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Winter sales taking place over at Volkswagen Lee Summit. That's where I got my new car just this previous spring. It's so nice. Oh, it's so nice to not and look, my old car was great. Drove for 12 years, was a Volkswagen Jetta. So I went back to VW and I wanted the best customer service in the city. That's why I went to Volkswagen Lee Summit. But it's nice to get your first new ride to yourself. You can do that. And all 2024s, the same model I drive, they're having their biggest discounts of the year over at Volkswagen Lee Summit. You can get up to $8,000 off on some remaining 2024 Volkswagen models. We're talking Jettas, Taos, Tiguan, Atlas, and Crossport. $5,000 off on some of those as well of the MSRP. Or you can get a 2024 Atlas or Crossport for up to $8,000. So look, the discounts have never been bigger. Get the best prices of the year. Go to the winter clearance event and see for yourself what I've been telling you about. Why Volkswagen Lee Summit will take care of you. You got a car in mind? You got a couple of cars in mind? They'll bring them right out in front of the building, let you look around, take you for a test drive. No pressure sales environment. You can see for yourself where this car and what that car could do for you. I wanted more room for the kids. I wanted a reliable car for these long road trips, for the upcoming winter, for all of those things. And that's what you can get at Volkswagen Lee Summit. Make the great decision I did and give yourself a chance for those deals or 0% APR, sign and drive leases, so many great deals and used cars as well. Don't miss out. Go to VWLeeSummit.com.
It is one of my favorite times of the year. The NBA is back, baby, and FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app, wants you to catch all the action because right now, FanDuel is giving all users, yes, every single user, 3 months free of NBA League Pass. All you need to do to catch every tip-off and every buzzer beater is place a $5 bet on the NBA. You can place this on LeBron having the most assists, Victor Wembanyama to win MVP, or who you think is going to win the NBA Cup. If you're new to FanDuel, all you need to do is visit FanDuel.com/CDOT. Use my promo code to get 3 months free of NBA League Pass, courtesy of FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. After a 3-month free trial, the full price of League Pass will be automatically charged monthly. Cancel at any time. No refunds, terms and restrictions, and embargoes apply. Limit 1 pass per customer. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and our hotline is open. Annie from Kansas City, what's on your mind?
I want a dealership that I can trust for a lifetime. Is that you?
We're Google's highest review rated and only locally owned Subaru retailer in Kansas City. That's a good start.
I just want a great deal. That's all.
How about 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models? That'll get you a low monthly payment. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Google highest review rated Subaru retailer in Kansas City based on 2023 Google Analytics.
Dick Ray, he's your heating magician. Dick Ray, he's a man on a mission. glass is broken and a chill is in the air. You can call Dick Ray and he'll fix it up with care. He's always there. Call Dick Ray, he's your heating magician.
Hey, it's Dick Ray. Schedule your furnace tune-up today. Only $79. Call 913-DICK-RAY.
We're talking with Dr. David Bach, board-certified urologist at Kansas City Urology Care. What's the most important thing men should know about prostate cancer?
I would strongly recommend PSA testing. It's a simple blood test. It's inexpensive, and basically every male over 50 should be having this PSA once a year. Prostate cancer is the second leading cancer killer of men.
And why should they go to KCUC?
We not only treat more prostate cancer than anyone else in this part of the country, we also start with cutting-edge diagnostics to offer the most precise diagnoses of prostate cancer using ultrasounds and MRI. We can offer surgical, medical, and radiation types of treatments. And even for men who require additional therapies, we're able to offer all that at a single site.
Get your PSA level tested by the experts. Kansas City Urology Care. At KCUC, you see the best in KC. To make an appointment, visit appointments.kcuc.com.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 40 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shield Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 void in Mississippi.
Need to hire? You need Indeed. Their all-in-one platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates, all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
This Thanksgiving at Total Wine & More, find bourbons and Cabernets that you adore.
With curbside pickup available and the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Chiefs coverage brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. Visit eatandys.com to find the location nearest you. Top your day with a smile.
Let me tell you about my good friend Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from Kansas City, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Tailgate with a Pick 6, or grab a freshly made custom treat before or after a game. And tell him Mitch and Andy sent you.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
What's trending? Presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. As we were talking with Nate Taylor earlier today, the Chiefs are planning to designate Isaiah Pacheco and Charles Domenico to return from IR. That would open up a 21-day practice window. By no means does that mean they're suddenly playing Sunday against the Buffalo Bills, but it is a step in the right direction. And as Nate said to us earlier, it would take something happening to Kareem Hunt or something like that to all of a sudden have
Speed
Isaiah
up that
Pacheco's timeline being sped up. Yeah.
Doesn't really make sense, at least on that end. I wouldn't expect Pacheco or Minihee to play this week. Juju Smith-Schuster, 50-50. Let me talk to you tomorrow when I find out whether or not he practices for the Chiefs. Next up on What's Trending, Bobby Witt Jr., an MVP finalist officially, according to Baseball Writers Association of America. Matt Quatraro is a finalist for Manager of the Year, and Seth Lugo, a Cy Young finalist. Bobby Witt Jr., though, the most important, because by finishing in the top 3 of the MVP, which now, of course, he's guaranteed as a finalist, they will receive a comp pick in this year's draft.
Perfect. His year is going to end up helping them in the future. How about that?
Well, and the fact that they didn't hold him hostage in the minor leagues when he didn't need to be there. Teams like, Pittsburgh with Paul Skeens, who is a Cy Young finalist, and they held hostage in the minor leagues for two-thirds, third of the season.
Next up on What's Trending, the Chicago Bears have fired their offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron. 2 years in a row, they have fired their offensive coordinator. Luke Getsy last year. Yeah, and he's toast, though. He's toast. They're going to end up with 7 wins. He's tough. This is very predictable. Sometimes stuff is not that hard to figure out.
They have the single hardest remaining strength of schedule based on teams' win percentage. 7 might be high.
Yeah, like that. Before the season, everybody was very high on them, make the playoffs. No, we know they should have got an offensive-minded head coach. Last offseason, they kept Matt around for another season because his defense was playing better at the end of last season. And now they're going to have to go and bring in a whole new coaching staff for a quarterback that'll now have a new OC in his second year and probably a new head coach.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem. I mean, I don't blame for firing. It was also part of the problem, so.
Sure. 23 straight offensive possessions without a touchdown.
Yeah, at least not surprising on that end. Next up on What's Trending, the NWSL Awards season upon us as well. Temwe Chawinga, the finalist for MVP, also the favorite to win the MVP. They also had two candidates for Midfielder of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and Coach of the Year. So a lot of hardware for the NWSL KC Current.
Yes.
When you got a finals for Coach of the Year, MVP, or team, total MVP, Midfielder of the Year, I mean, pretty good year.
It's been a good year. Semifinals, they already advanced to them. That's this weekend. They'll take on the number 1 team in the league, the Orlando Pride. If they were to pull off an upset in the semis, they would then come back to Kansas City for the championship game, which happens to be in Kansas City this year.
I know it, yeah.
It'd be pretty cool if that obviously happens. Otherwise,
that would be pretty sweet.
Kind of a bummer.
Still cool to have a championship in Kansas City. I'm always interested in that, especially because the reason they got is they purposely built a stadium for women.
For sure.
First of kind in its world.
Lastly on What's Trending, Missouri Hoops beat Eastern Washington yesterday, 84-77. Tonight, Champions Classic underway at 5:30. KU, number 1 KU taking on Michigan State as they look to have 2 top 25 wins in a matter of days.
Bruce lost their first game of the season last year, or of the season last night.
Are you worried?
Who'd they play?
Iowa State, the 7th-ranked team in the country, on the road.
That's quite a big step up from KCCCCC.
They beat them by 100.
And Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal Lecter.
Hannibal LaGrange or whatever it was.
They beat them by they beat KCCC by 100.
Yeah.
Poured it on.
Whoever the hell it was, whatever.
Hannibal LaGrange, I think. Hannibal, Missouri.
Sorry.
That's what.
Hannibal Lecter's way better.
Put some respect on their
They
name,
played
dude.
Hannibal Lecter. I mean, that could have been a really different result. Unfortunately, they survived.
Could have lost a leg.
Yeah, it could have been really dangerous to open up your season against Hannibal Lecter, but no, Hannibal LaGrange was their choice instead. Earlier today, we caught up with our VinFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino. We got, of course, caught up on not only his view on Bobby Witt Jr. being an MVP finalist, what's his pitch for that, but how he views the Chiefs moving forward.
He's had songs written about him without asking for it.
Pasquantino, I want it. Now it's time for Pasquantino.
Mythological creatures and sandwiches have been named after him.
Beefy and Italian.
And he also thought the Devontae Adams trade was going to save the Jets.
The damn Jets.
Welcome back to the show. Our VinFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino.
Just a mental lapse on our part. Still haven't had time, Vinny, to get that edited, to get that Devontae Adams part out of there. I'm sure you don't mind. What's going on?
Not much. I'm just hanging out. Yeah, that's all I'm doing.
What's your general protocol, by the way, for bad Monday Night Football games? Right? Rams, Dolphins, 2 teams that don't have winning records, 2 teams that weren't playing good football. Do you just skip it? What do you do as a guy sitting around on a Monday night?
Well, last night I was playing video games with my friends and watching the game, so I wasn't really watching the game a whole lot. There's always a lot of fantasy football implications on Monday nights, especially when you have I mean, there's a bunch of big names in that game. So it wasn't like Thursday night. I think it was Thursday night was Rams-Bengals, right? Same thing, a bunch of – the Sunday morning game.
That's the
Nobody
one.
has anybody
Panthers,
planned for those 2 teams. So you're just – except for Chuba Hubbard, because he was a sneaky start this week, and he did well. So, yeah, and so did the running back for the Giants, Tyrone Tracy, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
So I guess there was some implications in that game.
We noticed the Royals did put out their early look at some promo items for next year, and it's full of Pasquatch items, man. Do they run these by you? Do you get approval? Do you get a heads up that there's the Pasquatch necklace? I think there's like not a teddy bear, but it's like a Pasquatch figurine or something as well.
Yeah, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I have no idea what's going on in my life because 3 promos just kind of for me next year is insane. It's insane. So I really appreciate the Royals for doing that because what an honor. That's pretty freaking cool. The chain I knew about. The others I did not know about. But the necklace I did know about. They let me in on that one. So that one will be pretty cool. They're all cool. I don't know. It's really humbling and really cool to have that. And I don't know. I'm super appreciative of them for thinking of me in that way. And now I just hope I can go perform on the field to where I would like to perform at, so then we can go win some more games, you know?
Before we ask you more NFL-related questions, I wanted you to give us your 30-second pitch on why Bobby Witt Jr. should be the MVP.
I think that's an unfair question because I try to look at it from an unbiased point of view, and it's hard to make that argument. Just like Bobby's one of my best friends. I'm not denying anything, but Aaron Judge just had another freaking ridiculous year, and so did Bobby. But when you just look at the OPS stuff, it's hard to argue. When you look at defensive value, that's where Bobby trumps everybody. When you look at defense and base running, I mean, he was the best player in the league. The problem is the MVP typically goes to the best hitter in the league, and you can't argue with the OPS points that Aaron Judge put up this year. It doesn't mean Bobby didn't have a phenomenal season, but I think just I'd love for him to win the MVP. I just don't think it will happen this year.
I respect the honesty. I really do.
Sorry for anybody in Kansas City who's yelling at me in my car right now.
Nah, they're fine.
You ask me a question, I'm going to answer it.
Yeah, that's why we have you on. That's why we love having you on the show. We're talking to our NFL insider, Vinnie Pasquantino. All right, let's talk some NFL. The Chiefs are still undefeated, but the way they made this thing happen on Sunday, blocked field goal. Even the players on the team were saying they really have not been part of something like that since maybe high school. Did you happen to catch the ending of that one?
Yeah, I caught the end of it because I kept looking at my wife and I was like, he's missing this field goal. I don't know what it is, but he's missing this field goal. When they ran all the way to the other side of the field right before it happened, I'm like, I don't know. That just feels like bad juju there. I have no reason to believe that, but I'm not a kicker and I cannot kick a football. I just want to know what the reasoning is behind not wanting to be in the middle of the field. It feels like you have more room to miss if you're in the middle of the field. I know the kick got blocked.
Right.
So it doesn't matter. But I'm just I need to talk to a kicker because I just want to I'm just looking at it realistically. Wouldn't I want to be in the middle because if I miss left or right? But I guess if you miss left more, you'd want to be. I don't know, but
yeah, I wonder if it's like golf, right? I wonder if it's like golf, your swing and your shot, maybe it's like golf. Some of these kickers just know where they tend to kick.
And if you line up on the right side, you better not miss right?
Yeah,
you better not because you could have been in the middle and you could have missed a little right and you could have made it. But
maybe it's a sightline thing, Vinny, like a batter's eye. Maybe it's a sightline related issue.
Could be maybe like a shooter in basketball. They like certain sights better than I don't know. I'm so ignorant when it comes to the other sports, but I try to talk about it like I know what it is, but I don't. I have no idea. I'm just talking.
Vinny, now that we're halfway through the season, I do think next week can we start getting an official power ranking from you, the top 5 teams in the league?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I tell you what, if the Chiefs keep winning, they're going to be number 1. I know everybody's saying that the Lions are the number 1 seed, but your record matters to me, and if you're undefeated, you automatically get to be the 1 seed. So I just want to make that clear before we go into my power rankings. If you're undefeated, you're the 1 seed.
So it sounds like you got Chiefs 1, Lions 2, and then by next week we'll get you to work out 3, 4, 5.
I think I have the Lions at 2, but I need to talk to my analytical team and see. Is it more impressive to throw 5 interceptions and win the game, or is it still 5 interceptions?
God,
also, the Texans lost to the Jets, and that's hard to do.
Yeah, where are you at? Where are you at now on your Jets? Last
I'm
week?
not anywhere.
Okay.
I'm not anywhere. Let's just say this. I was supposed to go to the game this weekend against the Colts. I'm not going anymore. That's where I'm at. Yeah, I got to fly up there, get a hotel. You know, there's a lot that goes in other than just going to a game. And to be honest, like, here's some insight from how I feel about sports. You don't have to be the best, right? You don't have to be the best because it's almost impossible to do. All I ask is that you make your own bed and that you're prepared for games and that you literally try hard. Like, just try. That's all I ask. I don't see that from them right now. They're not even – it doesn't feel like they're trying. And if they get heat from the media, they somehow attack the media. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird environment that you never see, like, really good teams do, and I don't like what I see from them right now.
Yeah, it seems like they're down bad, Vinny. I saw that it was Sauce Gardner, some other players are doing the whole DMing with fans thing, and that seems like that's always a terrible idea.
Well, Sauce has deleted his social media quite a few times, saying that he wants to delete the negativity out of his life, but then he gets back on and he goes after media members and fans. So, which I get. I've deleted my social media before too. Like, when things are going bad, it's tough because all you're seeing is the negative stuff about yourself, pretty much. Like, I grounded into 2 double plays against the Brewers this year, and I'm pretty sure every Royals fan wanted to kill me. So, like, I saw all that, everybody. I saw that.
I was gonna ask you, like, yeah, you kind of basically answered the question, but like, how do you handle that? Because I think it's way easier said than done for people to be like, dude, you stay off of social media. I wouldn't be on it. I'm sure that's very difficult to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, in terms of like easiness, I could just put my phone down. But that's not exactly how we live today,
right?
Is it? But I think, like, what I do right now is I have Twitter on Safari and I have Instagram on Safari, so I don't have the apps on my phone.
There you go.
That's kind of the best way that I do it. But sometimes you got to mute your own name because, like, that's what I did during the season, just mute my name. Because then I can't really see anything related to me. I'll just see other
Does that
stuff.
include Pasquatch?
Yeah, that includes Pasquatch. The thing about having a weird last name is it's the only, like, people aren't just saying, like, the name Pasquantino on Twitter. You're not, or Pasquatch. Like, that's pretty niche. You're not just saying those things. So, yeah, you got to be careful with it, and you just got to roll with it. At the end of the day, people want to cheer you. Like, your own fans want to cheer the Royals, which means they want to cheer you. So if I just go play better, people will cheer.
2 segments will debut next week. Your power rankings, and we'll find any tweet that includes Pasquantino that does not involve you. Like, I'm going to go digging deep. For
Yeah, that'll be a real short segment. Although I've got some cousins that are on Twitter, so maybe their tweets will show up.
Yeah, we'll find some stuff from them. How do you view one other team I wanted to ask you about? Since we got an idea of where you're on the Lions or the Chiefs. How do you feel about the Bills? Most people are kind of big believers. As a Jets fan, you've seen them a couple of times. How good do you think the Bills are?
I think the Bills are very good. I do think the Bills are very good. I mean, they've got a top, whatever you want to call them, quarterback in the league, and that seems to be the most important thing. They play solid defense from what it looks like. I think Sean McDermott does a pretty good job with those guys of keeping them, like, they seem to be in every game. It's just tough. Like, does this game this weekend really matter? As much as it's gonna, be talked about, it matters what happens when these two teams play in January. And, like, I think the Bills got a shot to win this weekend. But if they win this weekend, who cares? Like, who cares? They're not getting the 1 seed, it doesn't look like, and so they're going to be coming to Arrowhead at some point in the playoffs. And do you trust them to win then? If they do it then I'll start believing. But until then, I do not believe in them.
Vinnie Pasquantino, our NFL insider. Appreciate it, man. And we'll be in search of some of those promo items throughout the 2025 season. That's for sure.
That's right. All right. Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So that was Vinnie Pasquantino, our NFL insider. A little bit earlier today, I should have asked. I know text line you said you should have asked if he has a burner account. I don't know if he does. My guess is no, actually.
Vinny doesn't seem like a burner account guy.
The way he was talking to, it sounds like definitely not a burner. But he told you what he does. He just mutes his own name, so he doesn't have to see that crap when he's watching football and stuff. When he wants to search social media
so
about
if you're
anything.
hoping for him to randomly stumble across your work,
unlikely.
Type Vinny.
Unlikely.
Type Vinny. All right, I searched Pasquantino because I'm like, all right, let me see.
Is there anybody else?
Let me. Is there anybody else tweeting about Pasquantino that isn't the player Pasquantino? And the answer is, nah, man, there aren't that many Pasquantinos in the world. The top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll keep scrolling. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, I'll just be honest, man. I haven't found a single one that isn't about him, Vinnie Pasquantino.
Yeah, Pasquatch. There's a bunch of weird stuff on here. I don't know.
Weird what?
Like it's just not even talking about that at all. But they don't even. I searched Pasquatch. It doesn't even use that word in it.
In his defense, there might not be another person named Pasquantino talked about on the internet besides him.
He said he's got some family members.
Well, they don't tweet
He
very
has
much.
some cousins or whatever.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm assuming he's not the only Pasquantino on the planet.
So he's saying that maybe they're on social media, so some of their stuff gets in the mix. Anyway,
I don't think so. Wait, hold on.
Appreciate his honesty, though.
It took like 30 texts, and I found one tweet from a Becky Pasquantino. So
you sure
she
that's
just
not
responded
related?
to something and said yes.
You sure that's not a family member?
I don't know.
I'm guessing it is.
A random question
I
for
bet
Vinny next
you
time?
there's a Becky Pasquantino somewhere in the Pasquantino family. I don't know where in the family.
Sounds like you need to send him a text message just randomly.
A lot of
Or we
people
just
who
ask him
want.
next week.
I'll say this: a lot of fan bases who want Pasquantino in their team. They're trying to figure out a way to get Pasquantino in their lineup.
Well, the Royals also have a bunch of promo items planned next year. You know, out of Kaufman. They got 3 or 4 of them for Vinny. He said he knew about the chain or the necklace. Didn't know about the other 2 promo items. If you didn't see that, the Royals put out their promo schedule already. Some of the promo schedule, not the full schedule, for some items next year, including a bunch of Pasquantino items. Get out to Kauffman Stadium.
Becky Pasquantino's got some questionable social media activity. So I hope they're not.
We're back at it tomorrow. Ross Tucker going to join us. Definitely want to talk to Ross about the offensive line and what he's seeing from Wanya and Kingsley. We'll also hear from Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. That's all coming up tomorrow. But for now, we hand things off to C-Dot and Rob on The Drive.